Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. And look at this, it's like an Avengers cast. Look at them. Look at these superheroes I've got inside today. Jim and Kate from The Perfect Match. Long time. How are you both? And welcome to the Spurs review. How are you?
Well, I actually think, right, this is the first time I've been on your channel.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
And yeah, I think it's the very first time I've been on here, and I actually know why he invited me on, because he wants to get up to that 20,000. So I thought I'd invite Jim on and we'll get up there.
What, a bit of eye candy?
Yeah, exactly that.
Got a little bit of eye candy on. So if any women out there haven't subscribed, well, if any men or women haven't subscribed because I'm too ugly, Jim's here. So please smash that button. Kate, I'd probably say you're the eye candy in your relationship. How you doing? You all right?
I'll take that, Savva. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite. It's been a long time since I've been on the show. So yeah, thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
It has been since I last saw you. We've become European champions.
And lost a manager, if you could call him that.
Yeah, at the risk of not pissing off the Australians or PSG, we are European champions. So
exactly.
It is what it is. We've got Ellie. She's got her bloody camera on. This is exciting, Ellie. You're showing us your face. How are you?
I know. It's on Lubo's fault. He said, show your mug. You got to show your mug. Anyway, I'm really excited to be on your show again, Savva. Last time was a bit of a... but
it got views. It got views, our little row, Ellie. It was good fun.
Yeah, it was.
And last but not least, look, he's here every week. There he is. He can't quite decide if he's Levy in, Levy out. He can't quite decide if Vinay's running the show or if Levy is or Charrington. But what I do know is that he has, and you have, Lubo, you've suddenly dropped your Archie Gray love and it's now moved to Vuskovic love. How are you, mate? You all right?
All good, thanks. All good.
Good.
What a bunch of kids we got coming through. And first, let me just say, still coming to terms that I let you beat me in the football history, the Tottenham history quiz. I'm still, this is my wife told me I was a disgrace losing to you. I just don't know.
Well, look, I was a bit embarrassed because winning the quiz, I had to start getting questions wrong at the end because I was that far ahead to let you guys catch up.
Is that right?
I don't know what was more of a disgrace. Was you losing to me on a 50 question quiz, people, by the way, 50 questions, or whether Phil P, who had a brain fart and thought that Chris Waddle was in the 1991 FA Cup winning team. That was quite fun as well. Guys, where to start? No, I didn't slip a brown envelope to anyone. Come on. I talk Tottenham all day long. It's just all there. Anyway, listen, thanks to everyone who did come yesterday. It was absolutely amazing. Good fun, good times. Guys and girls, it is the 20th of July. We have played our first pre-season game, a right battle at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. We play Luton next Saturday, and then 2 days after that, we fly out to South Korea. I'm going to ask you this question, guys, nice and bluntly. You know me. If anyone was expecting fluff, you know that's not happening. How would we describe this window so far? And is it a bit disappointing that as it stands, we're going to South Korea with one first-team starter signing? I mean, as much as Takai, I think, will come in and play bits, I can't sit here and say he's a first-team signing. We start with you, Jim. Bit disappointed? Are you in the camp of patience? The window's not shut yet, or would you have liked to have seen more by now to catch up with our rivals?
Yeah, I think you know me well enough that I'm not one to panic. I always think there's plenty of time. But I'll tell you what I am disappointed with, that we got Kudos over the line so quick, and it looked like we was getting Gibbs White over the line quick, and that stalled. And I kind of feel that if he'd have gone over, more would have happened. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel, and I think that's kind of stalled us a bit. So yes, a bit disappointing, but I still feel there's plenty of time. And I watched the guy who works for the Times. He says Gibbs White's just a matter of time. So let's get him in, and maybe we can kick on. But yeah, a bit disappointed, a little bit, but I still feel there's plenty of time.
I feel like that's as close as I'm ever going to get to getting a rant out of Jimbo there. I feel like that's as negative as I've ever heard him going, yeah, a little bit disappointed. Kate, come on. How you feeling about it? Jimbo's right. Kudus came in and then suddenly 24 hours later, we're going, hang on, Morgan Gibbs-White's joining. 10 days is a long time in football. And since that's happened, it's been a downbeat 10 days, would you say, in the Spurs fan base? Is that fair to say?
I think so. I'm massively disappointed. I'm not like Jim. I'm massively disappointed because it all happened so quick. We got Kudus in the door and it was like excitement and we didn't have time to celebrate before Morgan Gibbs-White come in. And then that's all gone sort of up the wall with their chairman. But everything else has kind of gone blur with it. We've had no news of anyone coming in. We've had no news of anyone leaving. And we all thought, well, I certainly thought, maybe naive, wow, things are really changing. You know, there's investment coming into the club. There's rumours Levy's moving away from football. We're doing transfers quick. We're paying release clauses, something we never do. And then all of a sudden it's gone back to same old Spurs and we're like, nothing's happening. So it's very, for me, it's just so frustrating because it looked like we was going to get our business done nice and early. We need to get them in for pre-season. They need to build relationships with each other, get used to playing together. And it's like what happened with Solanke last year. Didn't get any pre-season. We left it till right late on. And it's just so frustrating, especially when you see Arsenal and others doing such good business.
Do you know what? I watched a little bit last night. I say last night about 3 a.m. A little bit tipsy. I always watch a bit of YouTube, and I'm watching Lee Gunner and the likes all have their rows about how bad their window's been, and I'm looking at their window going, God, I bloody love their window. Do you know what I mean? I'm like a bit of Zubamendi, a little bit of Mosquera, a little bit of Gyökeres. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, Ellie, first and foremost, I've been asked whether or not you're related to James Maddison or you've just got a crush on him. Would you like to answer that before anything else?
No, it's just because of you, Savva. You know that, right? Because
I know why. I know why.
Bit embarrassing having the Højbjerg name on my name. So the best player at our club, I had to pick him, Madders. So there you go. I'm not related at all, but I did play in the position he plays. Cam as a footballer as well, so there's another connection. But
there we go.
I'd like to pick up on what Kate and Jim said, very, very eloquently put by both of you there. You know, like I like to bring a bit of balance to things as well, Savva, don't you? So I just feel that we've never been a club that push on. We never quite do it, do we? We always buy one and then we get one free. I put that in the chat and everybody laughed at that. But it is disappointing. But at the same time, I'm excited as well because I just feel that there is more to come from the club because there is a serious intent now. They've gone after Morgan Gibbs-White. All right, the Greek fella, he's put a spanner in the works, hasn't he? And he's trying to sue us. But I think that
don't trust the Greeks, Ellie. Don't trust those pesky Greeks.
You know what I mean? We're a bit dodgy, aren't we, Savva? Right. And I just feel that one will get done. I'm not 100%, but about 95% sure that it's going to get done. And then we've got to go for our other targets as well and get them over the line because we've only got 10 days left, haven't we? 10 days left.
Yeah, if we want them to bond and form relationships before we play PSG, then you've got 10 days till we go to Korea. Yeah.
So I think the club have shown intent. So I'm happy with that because we don't normally do two in 2 days, do we? So I know it fell through, but it's just hit a hitch. But I reckon we're going to be after a lot of players. We've been linked with Zabanye. We've been linked with what's his name? Jardim Jashari. Yeah, we've been linked with him. So there's plenty of links. You don't know which ones are false or true, but you've got to, as a Spurs fan, right, we've got to be a little bit excited because we've got Kudus as well because he's a fantastic player. I like him a lot. I've always liked how he plays and he plays on the front foot, and that's what we needed because we didn't have no wingers really last season. So he's one. He's already shown against Reading that he can do it. So I'm optimistic. Just put it that way.
Okay, so you're optimistic. Kate was having none of it. Jimbo was Jimbo. Just before we bring in the third, shall I have all the Greeks on the bottom?
Yes.
Is that a little bit? All the Greeks can be at the bottom. I'll stick the Queen in the middle. There we go. Before I come to Danny, good evening, Danny. But before I come to Danny, Lubo, this is. I'm going to share my screen. This is arguably our best 11. Arguably, right? I'm sure people could want to make a little case for maybe a Kulusevski. Maybe there's a case in there for a Sar or better. But roughly, I would say this is probably our best 11. Is it worrying that so far when you look at that, Kudus is the only one that's come through the door? So are we now relying, Lubo? I'm not saying we won't get more deals done. Are we not now looking at Thomas Frank and asking him to perform absolute miracles if this is what we do for him?
Frank's come in, wants to have a look at the players he's got before making final decisions. And for me, I'm quite chilled still. The only for me, I mean, two things. What is going on with the Gibbs White situation? I think we'd all like to know. And secondly, what on earth are they doing selling Keeley for £1 million with no buyback? I mean, how bloody ridiculous is that? I mean, it was ridiculous buying Kinski in the first place when you got a keeper like Keeley. Just madness. It's just ridiculous. Just stupid. Veliz, I understand, has gone out on loan. Understand that. I think Frank must have had a look at him and said, not for me. Just madness with Keeley. I don't understand it. Just don't understand it. Didn't understand the Tell signing. Don't understand what they're doing, what they've done with Keeley. It looks like they're going into the season with the three keepers, with Vic, Kinski, and Austin. So he's made his decision there on the keepers. Be interesting to see what he thinks going forwards. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Look, we'll talk about the Keeley deal. I know it kind of bothers you more than. I mean, we'll talk about it a bit later. I couldn't give a. It doesn't. Yeah. Danny, evening, mate. You all right? You well?
Evening. Yeah, I'm all right. You can hear me now. Can you hear me? Is it all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. I also heard you tapping away on your keyboard. It sounded like you were punching the keys.
It wasn't. It was probably me chewing this piece of rubber. That's probably what it was.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's to help numb the teeth. To help with the nerves. Sorry.
The nerves.
I've got the liners in. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Are you wearing red, Danny? Are you wearing red?
Yeah, it's a red kit. Yeah, it's a red top.
Oh.
Yeah.
Danny, do you know how many times, Danny, I've been wearing a red top or whatever, and I thought I'll just go live, and I'm like 5 seconds before, I better change it because people will kick up a fuss, even though it's not a football shirt. It's just just mental. Like
this is a Colombian football shirt from Independent in Colombia. So it's the top team in Colombia, well, at the moment, anyway.
Not Arsenal's new shirt, no.
No, definitely.
Only you wear that, Savva.
I thought I was Aston Villa or Man City. I can't support everyone. Danny, where are you at? I'm just before we get into it. I'm just trying to gauge everyone on the panel. I'm just trying to gauge where they're at. Lubo and Jim quite chilled. Kate is a bit more like me and a bit like, come on, what we doing? Ellie, somewhere I think in between all of that. Is this typical Spurs? Are we doing things? Are we spinning plates in the background? Is this whole Lang in the dark good? What's going on?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot going on in the background. I'm more. It's probably the most relaxed I've ever been for a transfer window, to be honest. Morgan Gibbs-White for me is already done. It's just a matter of time. I think we're going to get another 2 or 3 players after Gibbs-White, to be honest. And I think that there is a lot more that people are not aware of. And I think that whether or not they're working on another deal at the same time, because I think it's not like beyond the realms of possibility that they don't work on more than one deal at a time. Like, this is real life. It's like, it doesn't have to be fixated on just one deal. They can do like multiple deals. And if Paratici is now apparently unbanned, then there's going to be another negotiator who's going to be there doing more deals and stuff like this. So yeah, I don't doubt that we're going to sign another 2 or 3 players. And I don't care when it comes in, to be honest with you. If I'm brutally honest, as long as we get the quality in, that's all that matters to me.
But let me ask you then, Danny, if I'll throw this back at you. Why are we not bothered when they come in? We're watching the big clubs act like big clubs. They get their players in. They're all there for pre-season. Bish, bash, bosh. Let's all bond. And we always seem to have this mindset as a fan base that as long as they're in for the first game of the season, and like Kate said, they need time to gel and form partnerships.
Savva, over the last 10 years, when has we brought in, for every manager that has said, oh, we need players to be in before pre-season starts, right? How many times have all the managers over the years got what they wanted? None of them, right? So why am I going to expect anything different from the way that they run the club, right? For me, I don't care at this moment in time, because I'm content with the way Daniel Levy runs it, because at this moment in time, he's not going anywhere, and we don't know what's happening with him in terms of what he's going to be doing, what his roles are going to be like. None of us really know. So for me, I couldn't care less when a player comes in. All I care about is it's not bloody 19-year-olds all the time. I just want quality in. Don't care when it comes in. If we've signed 3 top quality players, we go and sign Morgan Gibbs-White, Paulinho, and another, say, I don't know, a striker or a left winger, right, who's of a good standard or quality. I couldn't care less when they come in. I just want to see quality at this club come in for once. That's what I want to see. Don't care when it comes in. I'm at the point where I couldn't care whether it's at the beginning of the window, the middle of the window, the end of the window. Yeah, I understand the reasoning why we all want something to happen before something starts so that we are more prepared. Yes, it's logical, but Tottenham are not a logical club. They don't do anything logically at all. So why are we going to expect anything different right now? The only thing that I've seen different is we're actually bringing in players to go into the first team. That's what's different. So I want to go with that and hope that they keep doing that, because they've changed one little thing. Let's just hope. Look, Tottenham fans want the world, and they want the world all the time, right? They want everything. Most Tottenham fans, right? Look, we all want to see Tottenham do the best, be the best, bring in the best. But listen, this is the first time we brought in a first team player who's of quality in Kudus, right? Mm-hmm. And then to be linked with Gibbs White, well, I believe it's done anyway, from what I know. And when he comes into the club, it's like another top player who let's not forget was voted as the Premier League one of the on the shortlist for Player of the Season last year. So you go and take a captain out of a club, like Nottingham Forest captain, who is a top player in the Premier League, right, and go put him straight into your first 11. Why am I going to be upset by that? I couldn't care less when he comes in. I really couldn't care less. And for me, as long as we keep signing quality, that's all that matters to me. It's literally all that matters to me.
Let me ask the panel then. I feel like Danny started off really calm there, and he just started to get a little bit more, a little bit more. His feelings came to bubbling to the surface towards the end of that. Big up, Danny. It's why I love you.
Big up. Thanks for the message last night, Sav.
Yeah, the video message. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome.
Give me your phone, Ellie.
And he was like, send a message to Danny. I don't want to message that ugly Greek bloke. Guys, let me ask you though. So, like, I agree, by the way, that I do think that we'll see another 2-3 players come in. I'm not worried that we won't get players in, but I agree with Danny that they need to be of quality. But anyone can go with this. I don't like the round robin thing. Anyone can go. Well, why do we take so long, though? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all well and good saying we're going to get it done and we're spinning plates, but we've literally seen Liverpool, and I know they're on a different level to us. I'm not suggesting we get the same players as them. We've actually seen Liverpool go, right, Ekatike's our target. We've bid for him on the Thursday. It's been rejected. We've gone back in on the Friday. We've agreed the deal by Saturday. By Sunday, he's having a medical at Liverpool, right? Like, if they can do that for 95 million euro players, Why does it take us so long to do everything?
I think we all know the answer to that.
Yeah, I think it's Levy trying to do.
Yeah.
I think it's Levy trying
Yeah.
to do deals where it
Yeah.
goes over 3 and 4 years. I think that's what the problem is.
Getting the best bang for his money, isn't it? And for longer periods.
Good evening, Danny.
Evening, Jimbo.
Evening,
Kate.
Danny.
Good to be on the panel with you guys.
We love Danny. I think it is as well. I don't want to be too critical because we got Kudos done so quick. We identified we wanted him, we went in, paid it, got it. So in that respect, we haven't been slow. But this Morgan Gibbs-White thing seems to have thrown everything out of. I'm not using it as an excuse because Daniel Levy will use it as an excuse, I've no doubt. But it does seem to have thrown everything out the window because it looked like we was moving 100 miles an hour and we're going to get our business done early. And I hear people saying I'm 95% sure it's going to happen, but I'm just not as convinced as everybody else. I think tomorrow is going to be massive because obviously they fly out to Portugal tomorrow, so we'll see if he's on that plane. But maybe there's going to be a slight change in how we buy it, with Levy taking a step away and they're trying to find their roles. I don't know. It's the same as every year, so I don't want to try and make an excuse, but it just felt different the way we went out and got Kudus and paid quickly for him, that something was different. So it's difficult.
The Morgan Gibbs-White, is that Spurs' fault? I don't think
No.
so. I don't think you can blame Spurs for that. I think that would have been done and dusted if it wasn't for what's his name, Mariakis or something.
Marinakis. Don't worry, us Greeks, we all sound the same. Just say whatever you want, and we'll know what
I
you
just
mean.
call him Mary. I call him Mary.
Thank God for you, Savva. You don't all look the same with Marinakis.
Yeah.
What you can't see below here, I'm very Marinakis like. Don't worry about that. But yeah, Jim, you're right. I mean, it's funny, isn't it, that Danny alluded immediately to. We all know why he's talking about Levy. Kate's mentioned Levy. Lubo, before the deal, convinced me, oh, there you go, we're moving quickly because Vinay's in charge. And then the moment the deal went pear-shaped, he then went, oh, typical Levy. So, we've got...
I must have been on holiday for a week, that week.
Halfway through the deal, apparently,
reset his
Vinay
Levy
was
brain.
doing so well with the deal that Levy went, no, give it to me, I'm going to mess this up. It does... I still have this little bit of optimism that it is changing, though. Like, am I wrong to feel this? Am I?
No.
And Jim,
No.
let me ask you. I'll start with you, Jim, and then we'll get Lubo and Ellie involved. I do think a lot of this. I talk about this quite a lot on my channel about optics, and I don't mean the ones that the bottles go on, for alcohol, but optics are huge, right? Because we could be sitting here right now, Jimbo, going, well, we've just seen a preseason friendly where we've got Gibbs, White, and Kudus both in the starting 11.
Yeah.
Right. So if that had happened, we wouldn't all be saying what we're saying now. So is this maybe people like me and others being a little bit harsh on the club? And
I think so, Sam. I'll tell you why, because I think changes are coming to Spurs, right? I believe with the hierarchy, it's going to be changing. I think the way we deal getting people through the door is going to change. But it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen in a week or 2 weeks. It's going to take a little bit of time to roll in. It's not just going to happen overnight. And I honestly believe this Morgan Gibbs-White has really slowed us up. I don't know why it slowed us up, because they should still be able to get other people through the door. But the thing is, as well, with Lang, he's very quiet. You don't really see a lot of what he's doing, and all of a sudden it just happens. But I think there is change coming to Tottenham. I'm convinced there's change. I said to Kate a long time ago that I felt, I'm talking months ago, that I felt that there was going to be a change coming at Tottenham. And I just believe it. But I think we've got to be a little bit patient. I think Spurs fans, because we've been starved for so many years, right? They haven't got much patience. But I think that now is the time just to give it a bit of time, and we'll see some change. And I believe when we start the season, we're going to have a really good squad. I really believe that.
No. Okay, good. I mean, Lubo, do you believe the same thing as Jimbo? We're going to have a really good squad, but what does that need to look like for you now, Lubo? What does that need to look like?
I do think I said the other week we needed 4 established players to build up the squads. I think the fact you've got people like Vuskovic and Donnelly coming back in, I think will strengthen the squad as well. And I do think, I genuinely think, you know, we all got excited when Kudus came in with Gibbs White. You had the Japanese boy coming in, and 120 million was spent in 3 days. Now, let's join the dots. We had 25 years of Levy. That never, ever happened, ever. Mm-hmm. Charrington's come in. Vinay has been brought in to run the football side. And I genuinely believe that he is running the football side, because if he wasn't, there's no way Levy would spend 120 million in 3 days. No chance whatsoever, based on 25 years and 50 transfer windows. So for me, it's logic. You look at it, you just look at the facts. I think Vinay is running it. I think we've got to be a little bit patient. We've got 6 weeks to go to the end of the transfer window. And, you know, sometimes, you know, that transfers happen. There might be a transfer going on in 2 or 3 weeks' time. All of a sudden, one player goes into a club, which means another player at that club is unsettled because he's going to lose his place. He then becomes available for transfer. We don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks. There could be some surprises. So I'm quite chilled. And the fact, just seeing yesterday, the fact that they played, it was only Reading. It was a first game. It was a pre-season friendly. Doesn't really mean that much in the overall scheme of things. But just to see the coaching team were fully animated. They were following the game. They were on the pitch at half-time talking. And we played with structure. We played as a proper team. So for me, I'm very chilled. And I think it's going to be a very interesting season. I think the second half is going to be really good once they're all integrated into Frank's way of playing. And for me, I'm really chilled, to be honest. And I'm sure there'll be deals done between now and September the 1st.
Well, Ellie, let me ask you, do you think, I think one of the key things is, Jimbo just made a really good point there. We seem to have one of the only directors of football that works in the darkness, you know, at Spurs, to dare in the darkness and all this nonsense. But he does seem to work in the darkness. Are we just being reactionary fans, Ellie, and we could wake up tomorrow and go, oh my God, where did that signing come from? Are we guilty now of being in 2025 and wanting to know the gnat's arse of every single deal?
Yeah, do you know what it is, Savva, right, and you guys? I think it's with us Spurs fans, right? It's like once bitten, twice shy, and we don't trust the club to do what's right for the club. A lot of the fans get disillusioned because we don't do things like other big clubs do. And I know you said we're not a big club, Savva, but I consider us a big club because we're the 6th most successful club in England, and we should be.
Can we caveat that we're a big club? I just say we're not as big as the big boys. No, just before I get shouted at in my chat, I think we're big, but we're not.
Yeah,
we're not elite.
Yeah,
I just feel like a lot of our fans, not the younger ones, older ones like myself and Lubo, Jimbo. Kate, you're young still, so I'm not going to count you in that. Right?
I'll take that.
Right. I think we've seen it all before, right? And the young ones, they'll be quite impressionable, a lot of them, and they'll say they do care, obviously, but they don't care. I don't think as much because we've seen success, and we want to duplicate some of that success now, right? And if we don't get the first teamers in to help Frank as well, because we want him to succeed as well, because he's been fantastic at Brentford, and we want him to duplicate that, but we want to give him a chance, a fighting chance, right? So I just feel a lot of our fans get a bit disillusionized with the way Levy runs the club, and he makes one signing and then he doesn't go push that extra mile, Savva. Push us out there, get us as close to them as we can, because we know they're still above us, but we can challenge them harder so that we can get more success, because one trophy in 17 years is not good enough. 2 in 25 is not good enough. So we got to put ourselves.
Don't get Lubo started, Ellie. Don't get Lubo started on the old 2 in 25 years. He'll be going all night.
I know, but I like to spark Lubo off because he's normally quite a calm character, right? But I just feel that we don't push the boat out, and when we need to strike while the iron's hot, we've never done it, right? And it's very disappointing, Savva. It really is, and I just feel like, as a Spurs fan, lifetime Spurs fan, I just feel we can do more. We just can do more. And I just hope this time it is going to be different. But it's the trust element that comes into it, Savva.
The thing is, sorry, I was just going to say that Levy's come out and done this big spiel about how he wants to win the Champions League and he wants to win the Premier League. If he doesn't invest now, he's not only mugging us off, he's mugging himself off as well. Because you can't come out and say that and then just go and buy a load of kids that no one's ever heard of. You've got to invest in the squad. You know, he probably does want, of course he wants to win all that stuff. I don't even have to say probably. It's going to bring in loads of money and revenue and whatever else, get the fans off his back. But you can't come out and make statements like that and then not invest in the team, in my opinion.
Okay, he didn't put a date on it or a year, did he?
No, true.
It could have been 2061, couldn't it?
True.
Yeah, maybe we'll win it in 30 years' time after he's passed away, and we'll all be going, "Oh, see, he was bang on. He won it. He won it." But Kate, I was going to come to you next, Kate. Anyway, I mean, football. We're fickle. All football fans, not Spurs. All football fans. We're like naughty little puppies, aren't we? Something happens, we get upset. Something else happens, we get a treat, and we're oh my God, I love you again, and it was all great. Suddenly this week, if the Gibbs White deal gets done and they bring in, say, I'll use this name, but in this position, like a Paulinho type player, all of a sudden it starts to look a bit rosy, doesn't it? And all of a sudden we've gone from, oh, this is such a bad window to, hang on, we've just brought in 3 first-team players who immediately make us stronger. Fine line, right? A really fine line.
Well, yeah, because you could see it. I watch your show pretty much every day, Savva, and I could see everyone was really frustrated, and there was people were complaining, and there was a sort of a bit of a downward feeling around the club. Then we signed Kudus, and everyone changed. You know, your show suddenly become more upbeat. Then we signed Morgan Gibbs White, and the same thing happens. And you see it in the chat. You can feel the difference in the chat when you do a show when we just sign someone. So it literally will be just like that. I mean, if Morgan Gibbs White gets announced tomorrow and someone like Paulinho gets announced on Wednesday, we'll be.
Oh, you've gone on to.
Sorry, I accidentally muted my mic.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I'm really good at that.
That's the best thing you said all night.
He's going to pay for that later. I can't even remember what I was saying now, where I was at. Oh, we'll be saying Levy's played a blinder if it all comes out. And like you say, everything will change. The Spurs review next week will be a completely different experience. But it is a fine line. But at the same time, like Jim says, these deals do take time. Maybe we are just being a little bit impatient because, like Ellie said, we're so used to sort of once bitten, twice shy, same old Spurs, same old Levy. Maybe we're just jumping too soon and that things might actually be going on in the background. I'm just not very good with patience. I've got to be honest.
No,
do you know what? No, to add to that, I think it's like, for me, it's like I've always been a pessimistic fan when it comes to Daniel Levy in the way that he does his transfer business, but because like in life things change, right? So now I'm using the approach of positivity even when it comes to Levy. Like I'm not letting it get to me or affect me if it doesn't come in, right? Or nothing happens. Because if nothing happens the way we want it to happen, right? Then it's just Daniel Levy doing Daniel Levy things, right? But I'm looking at the positive side of it, and I actually genuinely believe that something different is actually happening at this club. And I think we're going to all be in for a surprise by the end of the window. That's the way I'm looking at it. And if not, then what? Daniel Levy's Daniel Levy. Nothing changes.
I see what you're doing here, Danny. I can read you. I can read you staunch Levy out as like a book. I see what you're doing. Get it
I'm
there,
not
get
like
it
the
there,
other
get it there.
DVRs. I'm not like
When
them.
it doesn't happen, explode. Daniel Levy's the devil.
No, genuinely. Genuinely. If we don't sign the players that we should be signing, it's just for me. I'm just going to be like, well, I didn't expect anything less because that's the way Daniel Levy is, right? But I'm choosing to be positive and more optimistic about what I believe is going to happen this summer. I think something is very different. I said before that when Vinay came in and Donna Cullen left the club, for me, that is the beginning of the end of Daniel Levy in whatever capacity that is, whether that's a couple years. That was the start. I'm telling you, it's the start.
100%.
It's gonna happen.
100%.
Something else is happening. And whether or not we're gonna have a takeover in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, it is the beginning of the end of Daniel Levy, and I'm all for it. Wherever capacity that is, even if he stays at the club, as long as he's not the one running the finances in terms of the football transfers and making the decisions in that aspect, I'm all for it.
I said to Savva, I said to Kate about two months ago that something's happening at this club, and I tell you how I knew it was happening, that he never got rid of Postecoglou when we was on that terrible run.
Yeah, that's
as soon as he never sacked him, right, and he stuck with him, and he was going to stick with him to the end of the season, I said to Kate, something's happening here. There's a reason that he hasn't sacked him.
Yeah.
And I really believed that change was coming then.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, Lubo, we had this chat a number of times, didn't we? I wasn't a mystic meg or anything. I said it the day Vinay signed. I said to you live on a show, didn't I, Lubo? It makes sense now why he's not sacked him. I mean, there's no way Levy sits and watches us go. I think as a clean sweep, all in one window, and we've had a clean sweep. The only one that's not gone is Lang, right? Lang's
I'll go as far as to say I don't even think Levy was the one that sacked Ange. If you look at the statements that Levy made when Ange, when it was announced Ange was going, didn't sign his name like he did on every other time.
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
think that was. I don't think
They
that was.
They said it was a board decision, didn't they? They said it actually put in a board decision.
They did.
Yeah,
they did. Every other time it's been his decision. The other 16 times his decision. On this occasion, it was the board decision. That wasn't him that sacked him. He would have been happy keeping.
But then
Ange,
also, Lobo, the fact that he said what he said with Vinay in that interview, right at the end of it, saying I've never heard him talk about winning anything ever since he's been interviewed over the years. He's never said, "Oh, I want to win the FA Cup," or "I want to win the League Cup." For him to come out and say, "I want to win the Premier League and the Champions League," that's whatever that means to him or to the club. There is something in that. There's a hidden meaning for why he said that.
Yeah.
Levy's a man of hidden meanings. You just have to look at the man, look at who he is, and understand him to see what that could mean. And it's for us to kind of make that assumption or judgment or guess to see what that is. But it's 100% something's going on.
I like this Danny better than the previous Danny.
Yeah, he's a lot more chilled.
yeah.
I like London Danny better than Amsterdam Danny. Yeah, London Danny better. Just quickly, big up to Pete. He's one of my channel members. Yeah, of course. I would be delighted to introduce if you don't know who some of the panel members are. Top left is Archie Gray's dad, chauffeur, agent, fanboy, fangirl, whatever. Next to him, you've got Jim and Kate from The Perfect Match. If one of my mods would be so generous to please whack in everybody's links, that would be amazing. So you've got Jim and Kate from The Perfect Match. Please go and subscribe to them. And you've got Danny. Are you?
No, I'm floating. I'm an independent freelancer.
An independent freelancer who doesn't get paid for appearing on channels. Yeah. I just want to make that clear. I'm not paying for a freelancer.
Savva's lying about that, everyone. Just to let you know.
I'll pay you a rich tea biscuit. And then Ellie is next. Ellie is next to me. Everyone knows Queen Ellie. So if you don't know, as box office would say, get to know. By the way, just quickly going off topic for 1 second, I think the funniest thing yesterday about the quiz was the one question that Alex got right that no one else got right. And he just stood there going, boom. Boom, didn't he? For about a minute. It was like, wow, you're really pleased you got one right. Big up to Mr. Box Office. Look, guys, I want to go back to this, right? I want to go back to what I showed. Would it be fair if I did this? If I was to remove, I'm just going to remove Bergvall. I don't know how I can remove someone completely. Well, that's annoying. I can't remove someone completely. Would it be fair to say that this position, and this position, and possibly this position are now our biggest issues at this football club? Because there's a lot of people. Let me put them on the same side. There you go. So that little. That threesome there. Would that be fair, guys? Is anyone else worried about that? Because I feel like Son, for me, legends, done what he's done. But again, I'm watching him yesterday. Just the spark is just gone for me. Solanke, I feel we need another option. I feel we need a goal scorer. And Bergvall is still a lot of hype, a lot of pressure on a 19-year-old kid. Would those be the three positions that we need?
Savva, I was talking to Chris Cowling yesterday about after the match, and he said that he really rates Lancashire and thinks we should keep him sort of as a striker option. And I sort of said, well, everyone said that about Dane Scarlett, and I've never seen it myself. And everyone on the panel said to me, no, Lancashire's different. He's different class. He's different gravy. I don't know enough about this guy to judge him. I don't know if anyone else thinks that this kid's good enough to be another striker in the first team, or if we need better. Just wondering.
I think he's a good player, Kate. I think he could be under Frank an exceptionally good player. But I think we're being a bit harsh on Solanke. I really do. I think if we get a proper left winger, one that can cross the ball in, with Kudos as well, I think if he starts getting service, I think we'll see. I think the best side of Solanke. I think that last season he's been really judged harshly because he never got a lot of good service. Savva, he never.
Jim, can't we judge him? Can't we judge him on his entire career? Like I know we do this a lot of Spurs fans, but let's be fair. If one of our rivals, if Villa, Arsenal, Chelsea, if any of these guys bought Solanke, we'd laugh. You know we would. We'd all be going, why are they buying him? Because he's not had a good career. So. Aren't we judging him off the body of work and the fact that his goal ratio in his career is absolutely crap?
Well, I just think we should give him this season and judge him at the end of the season. That's what I'm going to do. If we buy a proper left winger, I think that he starts getting service. I think he'll start scoring goals. I really do. And
is
I think
good enough. Is he? I asked this on my show earlier today, and everyone else, I'd like to get your opinion on this afterwards. I've got no doubt, by the way, Jim. I agree. I think he will get more goals under Frank. You know what I felt about the PE teacher being in charge. I think this guy will get more out of Solanke. But we're now a Champions League football team. Is Solanke scaring defences? Is this guy getting the ball 30 yards from goal, 40 yards from goal, and defenders are going, shit, I'm scared?
They might
right at this moment, no, right? But I think with new changes in this team, I think he could do, yes. I think he definitely could. I think at the end of the season, if we strengthen up that left-hand side, right, I think at the end of the season, we'll be talking a different story about him. Okay. That's my belief. Right.
Sure.
And you know me, if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to say I'm wrong.
Mate, if you're wrong, it's just a football opinion. It's not. I know what we like to do to each other on YouTube. Like, oh my God, you said something that didn't come true. You're rubbish. Don't worry.
I think at the end of the season, this season, we should judge him. I've got confidence in him. I really have.
Okay. I really like.
Anyone else, Solanke?
I like him very much, but I agree that if Arsenal had signed him as their main striker, I'd be going, "Oh my God, are you serious?"
Right.
When you look at him against, I think even against Kudos yesterday, I think Kudos outshone everybody, really. I don't see, he is a proper player. I see Solanke could do a job at the club, but I think we need a proper striker, like a Gyökeres, like Arsenal are going to get in, someone who can score you, or obviously we haven't got Harry Kane anymore, but we need someone that can score 20 to 30 goals a season. I don't think Solanke's that guy. And I don't want it. I would love it for him to be, because he gets a lot of stick, but I just don't think he's clinical enough in front of goal.
Is it natural, Kate? Is it? And what I mean by that is when I look at players we've had down the years, like Keane, Defoe, Berbatov, Kane, Klinsmann, Sheringham, yada 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 yada, I just felt like they had that natural instinct as forwards that I'm going to get this ball, shuffle it out my feet, I'm working the keeper as a minimum. Solanke works hard, he presses, he's a good team player, but I never get it and get excited when he's got the ball at his feet. I never think this is going to end up in the bottom corner.
No, nor me.
Right.
Nor me. Whereas when you always thought when Kane got the ball, I know Kane's an anomaly, but even Keane, Defoe, all of these, they got the ball and you thought they're going to score this.
Yeah,
Solanke, I always think he's either going to blast it over or lay it off. And I don't know if that's a lack of confidence on his part and he needs to score a few more goals, but I really wanted to work out. But I think Bournemouth, this sounds so disrespectful, Bournemouth might have been his level.
Oh,
yeah. I'm with Kate on this. I didn't want him to come to the club in the first place, just like I didn't want Richarlison to come to the club.
Agreed.
I do agree that I think Frank will get better than what we've seen out of him, right? But I don't think that we're going to get a 20-plus goal striker. I think he might get 16 goals, 17 goals, which is a good return for a striker in the Premier League these days. He got 11
in the league.
Oh, 9 in the league, 11 total. Right? So that's not... So I'd expect him to double his number to be a good return on a season, right? Especially the fact that...
He got a few in the cups, didn't he? He got
over 15. I think he got 16 or 17 in the competitions because Jim won a bet. So it must have been.
That's right. Yeah, I had a bet he'd score over 15 in all competitions.
I'd expect him to score. I want him to score a minimum of 15 goals in the Premier League as a bare minimum for a Premier League striker. I think a club like Tottenham, you have to be scoring at least 15 goals as a striker to be considered as a striker for someone like Spurs, in my opinion. Right? Especially considering
you're being generous.
Well,
I think you're being generous.
To be honest,
if you're paying £60 million for a striker, I want, and that bloke's playing every game, I want 20 league goals.
Yeah,
I want 18 to 20 league goals.
Well, the thing is, what I'm saying is, like, from what he's done last season, I'd expect him to get at least 15. But what I want him to get is I want him to get 18. I think that's the best return. If he doubles his goals in the league, then I'd say it's all right. It's 18 goals, right? So
it's not. I don't think it's Danny. I don't think it's about how many goals he needs to get 15 upwards, right? But if the goals are spread around with other players, it's not about one person scoring all the goals. We was lucky with Kane. Where do you find another Kane? If he chips in with 15 to 20, and you've got people like Johnson, Kudus, whoever we have on the left wing, and some Maddison chipping in with a good amount of goals, that's more important.
Yeah, I agree. This is the aspect of the team. If they're playing better and scoring more goals as a collective, then definitely you'd want that, right? And if, just say, like, for argument's sake, if he scored like 15 goals but then got like 9 assists in the league, right? I'd say that's a good return, because it means the other players, he's actually done the game, the side that people say that he's got, which is that work hard, the assisting and all that kind of stuff to his game, which has helped our team in a position that we potentially could end up in. And that's what I'd expect if he's not getting the goals. He's got to be giving us something else, not just he works hard, like, because that for me is not what we should be doing for a £60 million striker. I think we could use I genuinely think if we want someone to work hard, we could probably use one of the youngsters, to be honest, to work hard, right? Or someone else. But yeah, I just think that he's got to be giving us more than what he's giving us, right?
You know what? He scored 16 in 44 last season. The previous season, just taking the Premier League, he scored 19 in 38. And you'd have thought to yourself, you bring in a striker, he scored 1 in 2. You look at how he scores his goals, you look at how he plays, and then you bring him into a team and you play him in a completely different system. So whatever you think of Solanke, it wasn't given a fair opportunity, was it?
Yeah, I agree with that.
If he's had one really good season out of 7,
what about the rest of his career?
But hang on, but let's concentrate on the lot. You're bringing him in because year before last he had his best ever season. So you think, great, he's improved. He's better than he was previously. This is his best ever year. So what's the point of bringing him in if you're going to play him completely differently? It's madness.
Sure.
It's complete madness. You're not working to his strengths. What's the point? It was like they brought Soldado in. I mean, as it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because it gave Kane the opportunity to come through. But Soldado played, was it Valencia, I think? Was it Valencia?
He played 2 up top, didn't he, for Valencia? Big man, little man. Yeah.
But they played wide players who pulled the fullbacks wide, and they got down to the line and pulled the ball back. When he joined, Villas-Boas played Townsend and Lennon, inverting back in on playing off their wrong feet, playing a right footer on left wing and vice versa, closing down the space that was needed to get the ball into Soldado. You know, it's not the first time.
Lubo, let me ask you then. So if we look at the teams, and I know we finished 17th, but if we look at the teams that we're normally in and around, I'm not doing the whole Premier League, by the way, but if you look at the clubs above us, so you're looking at City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea is the big 4. You're looking at Man United, you're looking at Newcastle, you're looking at Villa, right? Have we got the weakest striker of all of those 8 clubs?
Last season, I'd have said no because I don't see Jackson being any better than Solanke. This coming season, listen, you know I like Liam Delap. I wish we'd have bought it. I wish we'd have bought
and João Pedro, and they've got João Pedro as well.
Sure.
So of all those clubs, we've got the weakest striker. Is that fair to say now?
Yeah, based on last season, but the other thing, Sam, is that we've said all along, unfair to judge a player definitively based on Ange's tactics. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's fair, isn't it? You know, there was no system.
It is. But do you not think, and I'll go to the rest of the panel after you've answered this as well. Do you not think that we need a different profile of striker? If it's not going to be instead of, listen, I'm not sitting here saying Solanke's going anywhere, by the way. I'm not selling him. He's not going anywhere. We know that. But do you not think then that the next guy that comes in, i.e. rather than Richarlison, needs to be a different profile, needs to be a bit smaller, quicker, a bit more of a get shots away? Do we not need a different profile of goal scorer as well, Lubo?
Well, listen, you know my feeling on it. I think we start talking and behaving like a bloody big club and go to Bayern Munich and test their resolve on Harry Kane. I'm serious.
We're not getting Harry Kane.
If you're saying we're nowhere near the Seskos and the Gokarezes of this world, we're nowhere near them. But we do know Kane, and Kane knows us. So go. He's got his trophy. He's seen that we can now win a trophy. So there's 2 monkeys off backs. Now let's test their resolve. Act like a big club. Act like an ambitious club.
Look, sorry, I've got to go do some super chats before we continue this conversation. I love the optimism you've got of just go and ask Bayern Munich about Harry Kane.
No, test their resolve. Test their resolve. Ask the question. What's the worst they can? The worst they can say is no. If you don't ask, it's a no anyway.
Sure. So, no, listen. I understand. We're being sentimental about it. But look, listen. For example, you've got players out there like Vlahovic, like Sesko, right? Everyone seems to, you know, they're talking about Man United today going in for Sesko. And Man United, in the space of 1 month, might have changed their entire forward line to Sesko, Cunha, and Mbeumo. Do you know what I mean? So, like, we have to be wary of them. Just let me do these super chats, then we'll come back to this. Big up, first of all, to Gerald Goldsmith. Really appreciate that, Gerald. That's very generous indeed of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone who does sub to the channel and puts money in. So I really do appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much, Gerald. Big up to Daniel Field, who's always putting in super stickers. Daniel, not just once you've put in, trust me, you'll have to trust me at home. That is 2 different super stickers. 1 And 2, big up to you, Daniel. Thank you very much, my friend. You've been very generous lately. Emma Morton, big up to you. Always putting in the super stickers as well. Thank you very much, Emma. Hope you're well. Thank you. 1 Dan and his boat. That's a great name. 1 Dan and his boat. Love that. Is that your boat? And what is your boat called? I hope your boat is called Dan's Boat. I hope that's what you've written on the side of the boat. I think that's a really cool name. Big up to you, Dan, and big up to your boat as well. Big up to Andy Lester, another one of my channel members. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Really, really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much. Big up to General Tracks, DJ General Tracks. I said, get Grealish in. I'm going to talk to the panel about the left side in a minute when we move away from the striker. Big up to you. Thank you very much, Craig. And if you don't know, please get to know General Tracks at General Tracks on YouTube. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. Destiny 5, the 5th Destiny of all the Destinies. Big up to you. Thank you for the super sticker. Very generous indeed. Much love, my man. Thank you very much. Big up to Phil Coys. This man was why I was up till 3 a.m. Big up Phil Coys. Much love, dude. Hope you got back up north safely. And yeah, much love. Thank you. Thanks for coming yesterday, bro. Really good to see you. Big up to Matt, my mate Matt. I said, big up Jimbo and Queen Ellie. They're nice to me. Oh, Matt. Oh, Matt. Matt, if I'm nice to you, you wouldn't come back. You love it.
Savva,
you love it.
Savva, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in a minute because I've got to go play to a paddle game booked. Right? You should sub me out and bring Matt in on the panel with everyone else tonight. Gosh. That'll be a brilliant show. That'll be a great.
Oh my god.
Bring Matt on. Come on, Matt.
Matt, you're more than welcome if you want to. Now that you'll feel safe with Ellie.
Exactly.
Go on, Matt.
Go on, Matt. Go on.
We actually had a conversation at the barbecue yesterday about whether I was too harsh to Matt. That was a very good conversation.
Look, can I just say that I watch your channel in the background. I watch it on the big screen, and I can honestly say, right, this is why I like Matt. He's never ever rude. I've never seen him be rude.
He does call me a liar all the time. Other than that,
but that's not being rude, is it? That's not. He seems to be very respectful. He seems to be very respectful.
He stays very calm.
He knows what.
Very calm when you're grilling him, Savva.
He knows what he does. He knows what he does. Don't fall for that. Oh, I'm innocent. He knows what he does. You got to remember, I've seen Matt every day in my channel for a year. I've seen everything he said. Right. And now everything's changing from what he said before. So don't you blow smoke up this boy's ass. Matt, if you want to come on and replace Danny Kiriakou, feel free, my man. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Sam.
Put the link in the chat, right? And then he can come on. He can come on.
Well, I'll wait and see if you want to do first because I'm not putting the link out. Otherwise, I get loads of trolls trying to come in.
I'd love to stay. Sam. I just want to say, but I'm going to go. I love to stay, but thank you for having me, Sav. Lovely to be on the panel with all of you lovely people today. It's been a while, so yeah, enjoy the show and love you all. Yeah, I will. I'll give you a call. See you later.
Big up, Danny. Thanks very much, mate. Take care. See you later. Bye. And then there were 5. Big up to Sam, who's become a member. Big up to you, my friend. Look out for the member-only shows once a week. And we always have a good laugh, and we just sit there and slag off every other YouTuber. That's all we do in the members only show. We don't condone that here. No slagging off of other YouTubers. Big up to you, Sam. Thank you very much. Somebody else who's become a channel member as well. Big up to Gareth Sweet. I hope you are well. You are now also eligible for the channel member only shows. Thank you very much for your support. Really appreciate that, Gareth. Welcome to the channel. Big up to Cat Funt. Always have to say that slowly and pronounce that properly. So big up, Savva, Kate, Jim, Lubo, Danny, and Ellie. Big up to you as well, my man. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate all your support. For the time being, the last one is Craig Fenner, who says, we will have a better team anyway. Frank can coach, and so can his assistants. And he wasn't a coach. His coaches were nobodies. Big up, guys. Craig, can't agree more. Not just because you played, can't agree more. I think we're going to be massively better. It's just whether or not we want to go that one bit further than just relying on Frank's coaching. Big up to you. Really appreciate that, Craig. Guys, before we move to the left-hand side, the other part of this, we talk about Solanke, but the other part of this is Richarlison, right? And I think most Spurs fans most of them unanimously want him to go. He seems to always want to stay. Is this going to be a stumbling block for us in terms of bringing in another profile of striker? Is that maybe we can't get rid of Richie?
I think
they've got to be. Sorry, I think they've got to be tough and tell him he's not going to be part of the squad. So if he wants to sit in the background, he'll sit in the background. They got to start being tougher with people they want out of the club. Savva, they pussyfoot around a lot of them, and they can't do that anymore. If they want us to be up with the big boys and they want to bring in bigger players, they've got to toughen up. Simple as that.
That's where Frank has to be tough as well, because he's got to say, look, take these players to the side and say to the club as well at the same time, I don't want him. This is my squad. This is the ones I want to keep. This is the ones you've got to get rid of for me. So do your work and then bring me in the players to replace them that I want. Yeah? Because otherwise they're going to be hangers-on and we're going to be stuck in that same situation where not just sentimentality, where we're holding on to players that are filling up our squad and they're not going to be used. And it's wasting a space.
Thing is, how do you get rid of a player that doesn't want to go?
Agreed.
This is the question, isn't it? They love it at Spurs. It's comfortable. They get paid a lot of money. How do you stop it?
You got to think, Kate, that Richie wants to get in the World Cup squad next year, right? If he wants to play football and get in that squad, and they're not going to play him, he's going to have to go. Simple as that.
He's also just had a baby, so he could be thinking, I'll get a year's paternity leave. Lovely jubbly, sit on the bed, spend time with my baby. Just say
he's not going to get in the World Cup squad then, is he?
Yeah, but
I'm
not sure.
Yeah, but sometimes I think you got to... You just got to go with it and put your foot down. At the end of the day, we're going to stay stagnant and stay where we are, right? If we keep players like Richie, right? So they've got to toughen up and sort it out and get rid of them. Another one for me is...
I hear this all the time, and so, by the way, sometimes when I say things like this, it's for a little bit of controversy, playing devil's advocate. But is it that difficult? Like, is it that simple? Because if we turn around and say, look, you're not wanted, we need you to go, we're then relying on a club coming in that can afford him and that he actually wants to go and join. So, for example, when he rejected going to Saudi, can't make a player go to Saudi, right? You can't.
Yeah, but you can't blame him for not going there.
No. But I'm just using that as an example. I don't care about the country. I was about to say he might not want to go. We talk about Turkey. He might not want to go to Turkey. So now you're relying on another club coming in from a country that he wants to go to. Isn't that the difficulty, Jimbo? That we can force these players out, but if you're not getting money in, it doesn't really matter, does it? He knows that we'll need the money.
If they tell him he's not part of the squad, we want to upgrade. What can he do?
He's always injured anyway.
I suppose it depends on your desire to play, right?
And when it comes to the money, they're just going to have to cut their losses, Spurs, aren't they? And take a lower price for him. Otherwise, we're never going to move forward, Savva.
But you've still got to rely on him wanting to go. It doesn't matter if someone comes in and says 30 mil, we'll take him now. If Richie says, I don't want to go, what can you do? You can't do anything.
But Kate, the difference this season is you've got the World Cup next summer.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to sit on the fringes of a squad, hardly playing. It's going to kill their opportunity of playing in the World Cup.
Yeah, but you say that, but he got into the last Brazilian squad and he was hardly playing for us. Exactly. And he still got chosen. And when Jesus got injured, he was their number one. He was their only option to play as their number 9. And he did pretty good.
You had Pedro, Ellie, that was there.
Say that again?
Now Pedro was playing for Brazil as their first choice number 9. Richie
but I'm talking about before. I'm talking about before João Pedro came onto the scene, right?
But if, for argument's sake, Ellie, you've got Solanke and Lancashire, who are the main two, and Frank doesn't. If which is all hypothetical here, if Frank doesn't rate Richie and he's on the fringes, he's hardly getting any football at all, That's not going to do him any good, is it?
Not really. He needs to play some games, and he did play some games for us because he broke into the team occasionally, and then he's had all those mental health problems as well. So he's been through the wars, Richie. So but the thing is, we can't be sentimental. He has to want to leave. Yes, that's correct. But we can tout him out like, look, we don't see you as part of the first team. If you want to get into that Brazil squad, you're not going to be playing much. So you give yourself a better chance.
What was interesting was that he didn't play yesterday.
I know.
Wasn't part of it at all, was he?
No.
So that tells you something, doesn't it?
And he's fit. He's not injured.
Which makes a change.
Yeah, it does, Kate.
What's your take on it?
Mate, I'd love to change all our strikers. I don't enjoy any of the strikers at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, but we're talking about Richie.
Who?
I know.
We're talking about Richie. What's your take on Richie?
Yeah, don't rate him at all. Don't listen. Again, he's another one. He's a hard-working, honest football. And what I mean by honest, he will run all day for you. He'll run through brick walls. Yeah. He's a wind-up. I love all that. But we've now got two players up front that neither of them are clinical and have ever been clinical in their careers. So yeah. I'd want to move him on. I agree with you in the aspect. I agree with what you're saying, Jimbo. I'd be doing everything I can to say to him, look, thanks for everything. I can't quite find a space for you. I need a different profile of striker. But again, I agree with Kate on the front of if he turns around and goes, cool. All right. He knows, right? He knows he's a Dominic Solanke hamstring away from playing every week. But you know what I mean? Like he is, isn't he, guys? He is a Dominic Solanke. Oh, sorry, Ellie. He's a Dominic Solanke hamstring away from playing every week up front for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Because if you look at both of their careers, Richie's had a much better career than Solanke.
He has.
So who do we keep? We're keeping Solanke. And he's got a much worse career than Richie.
But availability is the best ability, and Richie's very rarely available.
That's it. That's the stumbling block for Richie.
Yeah,
he's not fit enough. Whereas Solanke, he only got injured once last season. Yeah. And I think he only missed three or 4 weeks. I think he might have been injured twice actually. But he doesn't miss a lot of games because he played. How many games did he play for us this year?
45.
45, see?
Out of 60, 3 quarters.
We've not seen that from Richie any season.
Isn't it just... Sorry, before we move to the left side, surely I can't be the only one that underwhelmed by these striking options. Like, when I look down... Look, guys and girls, I'd like to say everyone on this panel is over the age of 40. Right? I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing that we're all over the age of 40. Other than you, Ellie. Other than you. Look at the players we've seen up front, right? And then I look at the options we got now, and I know fans want. I know we want to back them, and I know we want to. No matter how much I back a player, it doesn't change for me their ability. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like something's got to give in that forward area. I feel like something's got to. I don't know. We'll see. But anyone can start on this. If we go back to this, and we said that this was the other position was the Sun position. Now this is this here, and this is the formation that Frank normally plays. So I'm just using this loosely. But if we don't have that prolific striker, right? We don't have the prolific striker. Surely we've got to get something really good on the left that mirrors Kudus on the right so that we've actually got some firepower. We've got, even not firepower, just quality, skill. What would you guys do on that left? Because you've got more. You've got Tell. You've got Son. Solomon's still at the club. You've got Yang, who I'm guessing is going to go out on loan. Odeberg can play there. Are we going to go and buy a top left-sided forward, or what do you guys think we should do?
They just spent 30 million on Tell.
I know.
Waste the money.
They're going to go and spend another 40 million on another left winger. Can't see it. Can't see it.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to ask Lubo, okay? Do you think that Frank's going to get something out of Tell?
I do. I think he's got to. Listen, Levy's bought the player now. So for me, he's got to get a tune out of him.
Yeah. Do you think he will?
I hope so. It's funny. You watch Tell play for the French under-21s,
and he's
a lot better.
No, he's not.
Than watching him play last season.
He's not. Lubo, we're not going to do this. I've just watched all the French under-21 games in the Euros, and he can't beat a man. He can't beat a man. He's like a fullback's dream because he telegrams what he's going to do. Would you start him, Lubo? Is he going to start? Is he our left-sided forward for this season?
I think there's two questions that need to be answered before I will come back to you on that. Number one is how Sonny's going to do and whether Sonny stays. If Sonny stays, then he'll be the number one. If he doesn't, again, Frank said he wants to have a look at Solomon and see how he plays. And I think it's then a shootout between the two with Mikey Moore being brought in, 10, 15, 20 minutes as a sub.
I'd sell
worrying though.
So weak.
I'd go for Garnacho. I'd sell Sonny.
Let
him more out on loan.
Wouldn't go anywhere near him. Wouldn't go anywhere near him.
Is that because of his attitude or because of him as a player?
We don't need players with that attitude. I'm sorry.
Kudos has got a reputation of having that attitude as well.
Well,
so is Lubo's favourite player, Romero, by the way.
Exactly. Surely we want.
My thing. When you look at a Semenyo, I'm just saying the players that we started looking at. We were talking about at the start of the window. You look at a Semenyo and you look at Mbumo. They don't have this attitude issue, and that's what worries me. No, there's no doubting. You mentioned Kudus. There's no doubting he's got tremendous ability. What worries me, things aren't going right for him, this attitude problem that he had last year at West Ham. Because he shouldn't have an attitude. A player shouldn't have an attitude problem.
Who said he had an attitude problem?
They get paid a king's ransom. They go out there and they give 100% every single game.
Who said he had an attitude problem last year?
All my West Ham pals told me.
Right, okay.
Every single one. Not one.
I'm so glad you gave that answer.
Otherwise.
I'm so glad you gave that answer because you twist yourself in your own pretzel here, mate. This is the funny thing, right? So we're not allowed to judge any players on anything they did because they were playing under Postecoglou. But when Kudus has a mediocre season by his standard,
how many of those players had a bad attitude under Ange?
I would say many of them. Did you see them in games? We looked horrendous. Like I would say. Okay. So Romero's attitude. Let me talk to you about your man Romero, who you think's amazing. This is a guy coming. Hang on. Let me finish. Hang on. Let me finish. You back Romero to the hill. This guy's attitude is coming out, walking down the tunnel without saying goodbye to the fans after he's dropped a biblical stinker against Wolves. He was absolutely shocking, right?
Yeah, that's
this is the guy who's publicly, he's in our leadership group, publicly berates our medical staff, publicly talks about wanting to go and play in the Liga, right? And then 15 to 20 minutes after Thomas Frank is announced as our manager, tweets about Ange Postecoglou. Like, so if we're going to talk about attitude, what has Garnacho done that's worse than this? What's Kudus done that's worse than this?
Hang on, you're talking off field, I'm talking on field.
No, I think Romero's got an attitude on field as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. I think we need more winners like him who are prepared to play like a shit.
To slag the club off at every opportunity.
I think we're too soft. We need more people like Romero.
So you don't mind attitude then? Either you like it or you don't, because you can't.
No. I'm talking about attitude on the pitch. I don't agree with what he said about the medical team, because that's got to be said in-house. Somebody close to him told me that Romero literally got off the plane and made his comments, and he should have been better advised when he made his comment about Ange. And that was I was told that was bad timing. That wasn't meant to be a slight against Frank at all. So.
But people in the chat are saying they don't want Garnacho, but they want Grealish. Now, Grealish has got an attitude. Madison has got an attitude. Spencer's got an attitude. But some people will say they've just got swagger. I think Romero's attitude stinks, personally. I think
You think on the
on
pitch?
and off the pitch. I think sometimes he has been monumentally terrible this season, and he's brought the team down with him. That's why he shouldn't be in our leadership group. The final of the Europa League, he was phenomenal, and he showed why he's captain material. But some of the games this season has been abysmal, literally abysmal.
The Ipswich game, Kate. The Ipswich game, we was there, and I'll tell you what, it looked like 3/4 of the squad just did not give a shit. Honestly, I walked out of there, and it cost us a fortune to go down and watch that game, right? Yeah. And I walked out of there, and I said to Kate, "I ain't doing this for a long time." And
they're all shocking that day, weren't they, Jim? The whole lot.
But they looked like they didn't care. Right, and I honestly believe, and I will say this, even though I stuck up for Ange, right? But I honestly think that was to do with Ange. That for some reason they didn't want to play for him that day because they were just strolling around the pitch. No one seemed to know where they was, and I was watching it, and half time I just sat there with my head in my hands, and I just knew it was going to get worse.
It wasn't dreadful, wasn't it?
Can I ask though? I think it's quite an interesting conversation. When we talk about attitude, I think a lot of it, as fans, we really do make up things. What I mean by, how do we know what somebody's attitude is? Because somebody will go, oh my God, did you see what Garnacho did? And then the next thing you know, everyone's going, oh, terrible attitude, this kid, blah, 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 blah. When you actually watch Garnacho play last season, I think it's all there waiting to burst out. I think that he's another one that's been playing at a club that has been in an absolute mess. Same with Marcus Rashford. We wouldn't want Marcus Rashford. Went to Villa, did brilliantly. Gets his move to Barcelona. Spurs fans, wouldn't want Rashford. I feel like we're doing it with Grealish. We're doing it with Rashford. We're doing it. Everyone. Harvey Elliott's another one. Oh, he's got a little bit of attitude. Don't we need a bit of attitude? Aren't we like a really nice team? Aren't we all like they're all doing these little handshakes and playing Uno? And I want a bit of that, don't you? Don't we need a bit of?
I said to Kate, right, with Garnacho, you don't know what's happened in the background at his club. That he might have been treated like absolute shit. Because I was asked would I take him, and I said in a heartbeat. But you got, I think, with some players, he's really, really unhappy at Man United for some reason. Right, something's really upset him there. So we don't know what's happened in the background with him. And he's only young. He can come here. Frank can put an arm around him and get the best out of him. That's why.
Look how brilliant he was when he came on in the final. He completely changed that final. They looked so dangerous as soon as Garnacho came on that pitch. I think he's got potential to be brilliant. This kid.
Is he better than Tell?
Yes.
Yes. 100%.
Right now, yes.
And by the way, somebody in the chat just said, "Oh, I can't believe he's got terrible stats." If you actually look at Garnacho's stats, up until last year, he had the third best stats of any teenager in world football. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a talent. By the way, I'm not sitting here and championing that we go and bid for Garnacho. But equally, if I woke up tomorrow and saw that we'd signed him for 40 million, he's my left winger. Do you know what I mean? And look, something needs to be done, guys, on that left, right? There are players out there. You've got players like Mikatadze, who I can't believe no one has taken from Lyon. You've got players like Matoma. Again, I don't know. Apparently, they only want like 45, 50 million euros for him. You've got players like Jack Grealish. Going to Lubo's point, in a World Cup year. Hi, Man City. Could we have Jack Grealish on a year with an option to buy? You pay 100 grand of his wages. We'll pay 200 grand of it. Jack, come here. Force your way into the England squad. Experienced. There's options, right, Ellie? Like, we've got to do something on that left side, haven't we?
Of course we do. I mean, Sonny's getting older. It doesn't suit him, the left wing either, because he can take on a player, but he's lost a bit of pace, so he's finding it tougher. and the whole fitness level as well, playing so many games because we were playing in Europe and the league. So, and the way Ange plays, it does take it out of the legs because you're tracking back as well. So, yeah, I like Garnacho. I think he's a real good talent, right? And he's never really been given a run of games for Man United where he's impressed and then the next game you see he's dropped to the bench. So it might be an attitude problems, but we don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
We don't, right? So it's all hearsay to me. But what I like about him, he can take on a player. What he's got to do, though, he's got his final ball is good, but he's got to improve his goal scoring tally as well as a winger, because you expect your wingers to score 10 to 12, 13, 14 goals if they're good, right? In between 10 and 15, right? And then assist a similar amount. And I think he can. I like, obviously, Grealish is another option. What a fantastic option he'd be, because he'd be a fantastic ball carrier. He'll win free kicks for us. He's experienced, he's been there, he's done it, he's got the T-shirt, right? So he'll be a fantastic addition. It's the wages bit that might put Daniel Levy off that one. But Garnacho, he's a very good talent, and he's leaps ahead of Tell at this very moment, like Jimbo said, right? We don't know how Tell's going to develop. That's a wait and see thing. But when he does get his chance, Tell, he has to impress, because he can't go on what he did last season. He's got to step up and start listening to Frank, what he wants from him, and also be a bit more brave. Yeah, because Garnacho's got that bravery. He's not scared to lose the ball. He's one of those players who's a bit of a maverick. He'll take on a player, right? And I think he'll be a fantastic addition to our team.
Anyone else? Any other left-sided players, guys? I mean, I mentioned Grealish there. For me, I think he's the complete profile that we don't have at the moment. A wide man that holds the ball up, brings others into the game, wins free kicks. He's a winner. Apparently, he's excellent in the dressing room, from what you hear reports on that. Grealish, anyone?
Definitely.
I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
In fact, Garnacho by a mile,
100%.
by a long way.
Kate?
100%.
Jim's been calling for Grealish forever.
Me too.
Madison. You wanted Madison for years. You wanted Grealish for years.
He should have been at Spurs years ago.
Yeah.
He is a Spurs type player.
Would you take him, Kate?
Look, I'm not his big fan. I like his legs. And do you know what worries me about Grealish? I'm not convinced he's got the love of the game that he used to have. However, it is a World Cup year. He's going to want to try and get into the squad. So if we were going to take him, this is a good time to take him. That's
if you could end up with a Grealish, Gibbs White, Madison, you got so much, creative ability there.
Yeah.
We just need the striker to finish off their good work.
That's right. You do. Go and get Harry.
Ask a question. Like lots of people say this, Kate, about Grealish's love for the game. I saw an interview with Grealish towards the end of the season where, he said he's fired up. He's had some injury problems, but he's fired up. He's ready to go. He'll probably have to move next year and to get his love for the game back. And I always liken it to normal people. Footballers are normal people, but normal people like us. We go to work. Sometimes when you don't want to be there anymore, when it's coming to an end, it's not what it used to be. You need that change of scenery, a new manager, new teammates. And the fact that it's a World Cup year, I just think that for me looks like a no-brainer. I know we're not good at no-brainers at Spurs, but I just thought Grealish made sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense. And I think it could be a genius move. It could be. And at the end of the day, he's better than anything we've got on the left. I saw James Flower put, we've got Son. I don't know if he's joking, but
he doesn't like Son. He doesn't like Son.
I saw Son yesterday and it breaks my heart because we're playing this guy into the ground when he clearly can't cope anymore. And he needs to go. You know, we watched it. We did it to Jan Vertonghen. We did it to Lloris. We just make them play on and play on and play on when they clearly can't cut it anymore. So look, anyone's better than what we got at the minute.
Okay, fine. You mentioned Vertonghen. You know what happened with Vertonghen, don't you?
What?
You know he had a really serious. Do you remember he had that clash of heads?
Yeah. And
it was much more serious than what the medical team thought it was. And because of that wrecked the next 6-8 months of his career.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I remember Vertonghen actually coming out and saying that, and it was such a shame because we remember the last few months as not being great, and that was the reason. That was the reason.
Wow, that's bad.
Really bad.
Our medical team doing well again.
Yeah. Going back to a left winger, he's bought Tell. I don't see him buying another player with the same profile. Grealish is a different player altogether. So yes, I could see Spurs bringing Grealish in because he gives you something different to what Tell. He
can play inside as well, can't he? Grealish can play inside, not just on the left wing. So yeah, look, for me, I just want to see. I want to see winners. I do want to see some winners in there. I want to see some grown ups. But what I love about him, Lubo, I love that he's got the. I'm purposefully not saying hello to Sean. I'm just letting him come in quietly there. What I like about him, Lubo, is he's a different style of wide player than all of the ones we've got.
Absolutely.
All of the wide players we've got right now seem to just run in straight lines. For me, a player like Grealish is holding on to the ball, bringing others into the game. He's winning free kicks. He's strong. He links up play. Yeah, he's not going to score hundreds. What is Sean doing? He's not going to score. What are you doing? He's not going to score hundreds of goals.
Making a quiet intro. Sorry.
He's not going to score hundreds of goals, Lubo, but he has got that football IQ, and he's so good on the ball.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something that's frightening, Savva? My wife said to me before we come on, right? She said, Danny Kiriakou will be late. And she said, and later on in the stream, Sean will come on. How does she know this?
I'm a woman.
That's what Sean does.
Sean always turns up uninvited, and Danny Kiriakou's always late. That's why.
And when I am invited, I don't turn up at all, like yesterday at the barbecue.
Yeah.
You know about Grealish as well, right? Because Madders gets injured quite often, right? He does. He's quite lightweight. He's a slim bloke, right? He gets injured quite a lot. He can fill in for him as well because he can play that in that number 10 cam role easily, right? And that's what he used to do for Villa. He used to boss the midfield for Villa, right? And when he went to Man City, then he went on to the left, right? Because Pep saw him more like that. But he can fill in that role. So you're getting two players in one. Whereas Garnacho, he can't do that.
Sorry, but by the way, sorry. Dude, when you're saying stop trying to slow our team down, you do realise sometimes you do need to slow a game down. And I think that's what a player like Grealish does absolutely superbly. You can't, every time your wingers get it, they can't all just run. Because what that means is when they lose the ball, it comes straight back at you, right? And if you actually look, that's what Grealish does. He gets the ball, holds on to it. His teammates know that it's not coming back. They go and join in. I feel like this is, when you're saying Sonny is so much better than Grealish, I mean, they're very different profiles of player, aren't they? I think that's my point on it. I don't know. I just want to see something different. I'm bored of Son. Sorry. I know that's harsh. I'm really bored of Son. I want to see something different.
Grealish last season, he didn't get a fair crack at a whip, did he?
No,
he wasn't used a lot last season.
No,
very difficult when you're in and out. You don't have a run of games that you can actually get into the groove.
Yeah,
like Archie Gray.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you replaced Archie Gray as your favourite youngster at the club?
I've got to tell you, Sean, Gray won 3 medals last season. He won Best Young London Player of the Year. He won a Europa League medal and he won an England Under-21 medal. Gray will be fine under Frank. I have absolutely no worries. I
And
think
played no part in any of those trophies, did he? Like, let's be brutally honest.
He's coming on. He will do very well under Frank. If not this season coming, next season, I think he'll be a regular.
Lubo, this is like praising. This is like praising Scott Carson for all of the trophies he's won whilst never playing a minute at Man City. Like, isn't it? Like,
it's true. Search regular money Europa League medal last year. Apparently,
28 league games, 5 in the League Cup, and 11 in Europe. 16. He played 44 games last season.
and how many in the semis, quarters, and final?
Doesn't matter. He played 44 out.
Sure. By the way,
he came on and scored us over the line in Bilbao, didn't he?
For anyone that asks, Jack Grealish last season played 32 games.
32 games. He played quite a lot of games.
Yeah, but how many minutes did he get?
I'm not on. I'm
32.
32 minutes. Yeah, 32 minutes. Listen, I'm not saying it has to be him. I'm just looking at options that are out there. I'd really like the lad from Lyon. Sean, let me come to you. Let me welcome. I'd really like. I can't understand why no one's gone for him, for Fana as well. Matoma. There's a lot of noise that Matoma is available and that Brighton would be willing to sell. Do you think we will go in and get another left-sided player, Sean? Do you think that's important for where we are right now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, 100%. I think we're going to get one. I don't think it'll be Matoma because I think, unfortunately, Daniel Levy doesn't want to buy people that are 28 or over. Right? He's ageist for sure at the moment because he thinks there's no sell-on value. But like I said 1,000 times, this is probably the same reason why he's not going to buy Polina, even though to me it's the most logical I don't even think there's a debate on the idea of bringing him in. The debate will be on whether there's value at the price, but there's another way of doing it, right? Like just get him on loan like we did with Timo Werner, and he'll get the minutes and he's not going to let you down like Timo Werner did. So we've got pedigree in buying a player that's that age and paying a wage on a zero loan fee. But left wing for sure. Mikhail Tadzi is an absolute baller. Surprised he stayed in the French league as long as he has. Similar to Jonathan David, I think both of them need to try their hand at a different league, a higher caliber league. What's interesting about Mikhail Tadzi is that he had a wonderful relationship with that Thiago Almada last year, who was the geezer who came from Botafogo on loan, and he's ended up going to Benfica. So,
Hasn't he just signed for Atletico?
Is it Atletico he's gone to?
I'm pretty sure he's just signed.
You're right. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, sorry, you're right. Yeah, so who am I thinking of? Who went to Benfica? Benfica signed Richard Rios. Sorry, I'm thinking of
Richard Rios. Yeah,
sorry.
Another player.
But Mikhail Tadzi, I think, is too good to sit in a league that doesn't have any competition. He's such a classy player. He's a typical Georgian, right? He reminds me of Georgi Kinkladze. He reminds me a little bit of Kvaratskhelia, but he's a bit stronger and maybe not quite as tricky as Kvaratskhelia, but classy player. I'd love to see him. I really would. But he's also a player that likes to sit in the 10 and drift outwards versus other players that Tottenham are linked with that are left wingers that are really 10s, but they just sit on the left and drift in. And that to me is the conundrum. I know you were just comparing Sonny with Jack Grealish. I think Jack Grealish is better as a 10, but he's a player that sits on the left wing and that can drift in or that can take a play on. But I think that Tottenham need a winger. Like you've got a Kudus, who in that little spell yesterday, he showed you what Tottenham have lacked on the right hand side. I can't remember unless someone jump in here. The last time I think that Tottenham had a right winger that can take a player on and stay on the right wing and really go for it. Unless you're shoehorning Gareth Bale over there when he came back for his second run, outside of him is Aaron Lennon, right? 100%. Yeah, and how long ago? Right. How long ago was that? How long ago was Aaron Lennon? 2010. 2000. Yeah, okay. 2000 was it? It was 15. Was it? He stayed until 2015.
I think he left in 15.
Okay, yeah. So it's madness, right? But if you can get a right winger that can do that, like we've already got now, and then you can get a left winger that can do what Sonny can do, I think you've got enough. For me, I think you've got enough options if the Gibbs-White deal is done, and then with Maddison and Decky, I think you've got enough players that can like rotate and drift inwards. I want to see a left. If we're going to replace Sonny, I think you need to have a winger that can take a guy on. And then when you have that, when you have two guys on the wing that can do a little bit of both, you have so much versatility. You have options. Then you have like Cochrane and Thomas Frank, who my number one takeaway from yesterday was the reason why I'm so happy was not because of the game, the performance, or because of the result. It was because of seeing these guys on the touchline, like inventing new ideas and like, you know, experimenting and doing things with Brennan Johnson that we haven't seen of him, and just seeing the kind of the structure and the discipline and the set pieces. And I think if you get two guys that can take players on the right and the left at the same time, and you have a 6 or an 8, whoever it might be, whether it's Polina or whether it's Gibbs-White or whoever else, Bentancur, that can spray passes on the switch, when you have that, you're so unpredictable. And that to me is crucial. But unfortunately, we still put everything down our left wing as often as we could, because when Sonny's on the pitch, we just do it. It's just like natural to always go on the left hand side. And he can't. He's lost it. He's lost his mojo. And so I'm looking for a left winger that can take a guy on more so than one that can drift in. And so whilst I hear your take, Savva, about Jack Grealish, he's not for me. Not because I think he's a busted flush, not because I think he's a dickhead, not because I think he's anything like that. I think that there are question marks around whether he's still motivated, which we won't know. And I'll trust Thomas Frank's take on it, but I would rather see a left winger that is a take-on guy, personally.
Sean, do you not think that after spending 30 million the other week on Tel, they're not going to rush out to spend another big amount on someone in the same position where you've got several positions that need upgrade?
Yeah, so 100%. Especially if I don't think Tottenham will go after Adam Watson. I think it's a red herring. I think it's too much money for a guy that has played 22 games in the Premier League and 1 England cap, even though he's a very talented player. But if you do go after him and you spend 80 million quid on him, everybody in Tottenham will wet themselves until the day after that deal is announced, and then it's now what? Like, what's the next thing? And unfortunately, there'll be no money left. I'd rather go and get someone like a Douglas Luiz or a João Palhinha or whoever, 25 million, and then you've got money to go and get someone else. But I do take your point, Lubo. I'm not. There's so many left wingers out there. It's the most oversaturated position in the game, and so I don't care if Eze goes to Arsenal. Okay, cool. If Xavi Simons goes to Bayern, okay, cool. There's 15 more. There's 15 more out there that we could get that would do just as good a job. So I'm not that bothered.
It does make you wonder what on earth they were thinking about by bringing Tel in when there are so many that are better.
Right. You know what, Sean? Right? It's weird that Sonny's still our best assister, and we've kept him because of that. I reckon, because we've all seen that he's slowed down. He's not the same player, but he's still assisting, right? And I think the club are holding on to that. And that's why they're holding on to him, because we've got no one else. We've got a young 19-year-old who's not proven, right? And the only other player we've got on the left is Solomon and Sonny. And they don't really know about Solomon. They're sort of umming and ahhing about him. Obviously, Frank wants to have a look at him. But I still don't think they're going to think he's as good as Sonny in terms of assisting, because he's fantastic at assisting goals.
The problem is, though, Ellie, I don't make you wrong, right? The stats don't lie. But for me, it's more around like it creates an imbalance in the squad. Like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way as I did, but I saw a lot yesterday of what frustrated me about us last season. When he's on the pitch, everything goes down his side.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's the same when Richarlison's on the pitch, we played to Richarlison's strength rather than the team's strength, because he can't do much in terms of trapping. He can't do much in terms of link up as good as others could. And so I don't want to be a team that is manufactured around a player, especially one that's on the decline, just because he's a legend.
I do get that, but I'll caveat, because on the other side we've got Johnson, who doesn't assist, and then you've got Sonny on this side, so it's a natural progression to pass it to him because they know he's going to assist more. You see, so but do get your point. We are giving the ball too much to him.
If you
right?
bring in Ellie, if you bring in Gibbs White, you could play Maddison left, which is where he plays some of the time at Leicester. You could play.
Yes,
couldn't you?
I've seen him drift into that position because of the inverted business as well. Because he was getting frustrated.
The other option is that if Frank plays three at the back, you've got Udogie or Spence as wing backs going down that left as well. So,
if you play three at the back, though, doesn't this kind of wipe out the wide players completely? If you're playing three at the back, you now don't need any of them, do you?
But he switched between the two systems yesterday, didn't he, Sean? He started off with three at the back.
No, he didn't.
We're watching it on Spurs play at Savs, and the way they lined up to start, you had Porro, Romero, and Danso in the back three, with Udogie pushed on.
I don't think that was starting as a back three. I think that was just more utilising
the back four. It was definitely a back four, but Udogie was given the instruction to hug the touchline. He was definitely an uninverted fullback for sure. His instruction was you sit on the touchline when we have possession and stay out there. Whereas Porro was certainly more narrower. I wouldn't say Porro was inverted. Nothing like what he was asked to do with Ange. But I just think it wasn't like. I think Johnny and I were talking about this. We were expecting it to be like fullbacking, old school, like Fulham style, where they're going to both be on the touchline. But Pedro Porro was certainly more narrow than Udogie was. But I wouldn't say it was a back three. Porro wasn't playing centre back or anything.
Yeah.
Look, let me ask. I mean, Jim, Kate, it's an interesting one, right? Because we talk about we want to revolutionise the team, we want a different forward line. But if we're saying that Son starts and Solanke starts, all we've done to change our forward line is just Kudus, right? Is that? I hate the word scary. Is that a frightening? Doesn't really matter what word I use. Is that a frightening front three? Compared to the other clubs around us and the fact that we're going into Champions League, like, an aging Sonny, a Solanke that's, we know what we know about him, and then Kudus. Surely then you'd just be like, well, let's mark Kudus out the game, wouldn't you? If that's the case.
I think we do need to buy a left-sided player. I'm convinced we do. And I don't think Lubo I take it you don't like Tel Lubo.
No, he likes Tel.
No,
I like Tel.
I think he was the wrong player. I thought we need better. We don't need another 19-year-old kid who's not established.
I don't think they bought him to start him. I think they bought him to bring him on. For his career, like.
But you got Mikey Moore there. Why?
He's not ready. Mikey Moore's not there.
Yeah, he's not ready either. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that we need a left-sided player, 100%. If we start the season without a new left-sided player, I'll be absolutely gutted. Look, you saw Son yesterday, right? I hate to say it because I love Son. I think we all do, but he was getting the ball caught under his foot and he was running on and the ball was left behind him and it was like... Yeah. And he don't look happy. He looks like he's put on a bit of weight to me as well, but he don't look happy. He just doesn't look happy.
Would you agree? Would you agree? For me, just watching the game, wasn't the greatest of games, but for me, the three players that looked rusty more than any of them, I thought were Johnson, Son, and Solanke.
Yeah, 100%.
Solanke wasn't great. I think. I don't know if did you guys get to see Johnson's pivots and his looping back on the TV? Because there was definitely a new instruction that was aimed at him, and I thought it didn't work out in the experiments because the balls that were being hit were poor, but there was 100% an instruction when the ball got put towards Danso at left side centre back or to Udogie and Udogie didn't have a clear path forward. There was a trigger. There was some sort of trigger. It was almost like a baseball move. Johnson did something like this, and then he would back off. Like he was on the back side of the left back. And he'd shuffle backwards like 5 yards towards the touchline. And then he'd loop round and start this run. And then he started the run 2 yards before the offside trap. And because he had the pace and then the ball was banged over the top. It was 100% a thing that you saw from from Johnson in his Forest days, and not something we ever saw from him under Ange. So it was like there was definitely something going. Like he did the experiments didn't work out because the balls were poor; they were overhit. But you could tell that was something they were working on to use Johnson on the shoulder behind the fullback.
Can I ask you guys? Is it fair to say that when Kudus did come on and you see him have the ball at his feet and the way he manipulates a ball, turns, runs, dribbles, control, it really just does show how average players like Brennan Johnson are. I know he's got his uses and he gets in and grabs some goals, but the levels are frightening for me. That really showed it when I watched it yesterday. I watched the game, just like so chalk and cheese in ability.
Yeah, unbelievable difference. I mean, if we had that on both sides, we've got a force going forward. But I do look, and there's a lot of people saying try Brennan Johnson as a second striker because he plays that way, I believe, with Kiefer Moore for Wales. I don't know. It's difficult because Johnson knows where the back of the net is, but I thought he didn't look great yesterday. I thought Bergvall didn't look great either yesterday.
No,
I thought
he
he looked
didn't,
great as well.
I'll tell you what, I've said this for ages about Bergvall. For me, he gives the ball away. He's a young player. He gives the ball away in dangerous positions far too much.
Yeah, agreed.
Because for me, and this is the thing, this is why when everyone loses their mind and goes, this boy's a star, I'm just going to mute your mic, Ellie, because when I'm talking and you're not, just so you know, out of your screen, I've got an echo. So please don't be offended. I'm just letting you know I'm muting the mic. This Bergvall for me, so when people are saying, oh, we don't need a centre mid, we've got Bergvall, I still think he's got to learn from people. And I'm sure Frank will coach this out of him. But it's almost like every time Bergvall gets the ball, he tries to do too much to impress. It's like he can't do the simple thing. He's got to drive with it every time. He's got to make the difficult ball. And I think he gets caught. So I'm not knocking him before anyone has a go. I'm not knocking him.
There was a lot of that yesterday, though. Even the first half, Bentancur did it as well. It was like they were trying to do this like triangling out from the back, and a couple of times it worked. It worked in the first 5 minutes. There was a move that was just sensational in the fifth minute. But then as the first half went on, they were doing this triangling out the back because Reading were pressing well. And then we went for this, like, whoever it was in the sixth, Bentancur at one point, Pape Sarr came back and picked the ball up and did exactly the same thing about 5 minutes later. And Bergvall did it in the second half. They would get themselves in a position where they weren't that much more advanced than the 18-yard box. And they looked for a pass forward. And they found the guy who came and presented himself, but he had someone that was on him the second that he accepted the ball. And he got picked off. And it happened like 3 times in the game. Twice in the first half, once in the second half. And so, like, I make the same argument that Bentancur isn't a 6. He's not good enough he's not good enough in the touch type rest defense. He doesn't follow his man. He hasn't followed his man all last season. I know everyone like waxed lyrical about him because he handled it in Frankfurt, but actually, in my opinion, just my opinion, but I've seen it so many times with him where he doesn't pay attention. He's got that DNA of an 8 where he thinks he's got more time, but as a 6, you're supposed to sit there and be really close to your guy when you get transitioned on so that you can snuff out that risk immediately. Think about what Caicedo does, right? You're never going to see Caicedo, his name on the back pages. He's never going to be the hero. He just wins the ball back. He knows where the ball's going to be. He picks it up, wins it back, and gives it back. Yeah. Almost like it's like a mosquito, like an irrelevant wasp, right? That's just a nuisance to the opposition. But people aren't going to like remember his involvement in moves. But if we want to be the team that can, at times next season, sort of put 9 of our team in the opposition half when we have the ball, then you need a 6 that can snuff things out and can be really and that can be on it. And I don't think we definitely don't have one, which is why I'm so insistent that even a Polinia that's 70% of what he was when he was the Fulham version of himself, that's the sort of guy that you can get. And if you can get that on a loan deal, or if you can get that on a £20 million deal, he's the perfect guy for now, given that we need to have more money to put elsewhere. And then you can worry about getting an Adam Wharton type player next year or whatever else.
Or Louise would do the job.
Douglas Luiz as well could do that. Yeah, 100%.
So just quickly, guys. I mean, I started at the beginning of the show by saying that this is probably our best 11 on paper. For me, I'm going to say this might piss a lot of people off. I just don't think that midfield 2 is good enough. I don't. I feel it needs a. I think we need a. I don't know if I say a midfield general, but we need that guy that you go, that's the man. That's your main man. He plays every game. I know what he's going to give me. 7 or 8 out of 10 each week. I just don't feel that. Obviously, Bergval's a kid. Bentancur for me, I think, has always had a lot of smoke blown up. That I think he does brilliantly in games against the lesser teams, against the bigger teams. I've not really seen him be the guy in midfield. Am I being harsh, guys, or are we all under the illusion that we need a centre mid?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do.
The Bergvall saw flashes. I thought, particularly in the League Cup game at home against Liverpool, I thought there was some really promising flashes. Remember, he's just turned 19. It was his first season, and he wasn't coached properly last year. He probably been coached very well up to joining Spurs, and then came in and thought, Jesus, what is this shit show here? So I'm looking forward to Bergvall really developing under Thomas Frank and his coaching team.
Sure.
So
yeah, definitely not writing Bergvall off in any way. He's going to be. He's a cracking player. He's just with him and Bentancur, they're both similar, and you need something a little bit different in that 6.
Does Morgan Gibbs-White solve the midfield problems?
No.
I think he goes in as our best number 8.
Yeah. Yeah. He's ahead of Bergvall and Bentancur in the role that they are currently occupying.
But we still need. I still think you need the guy next to.
Yeah.
Listen, if like Sean said, if you brought in a Paulinho or a Douglas Luiz, right? Let's just go one of them two. Gibbs-White in the 8, Maddison in the 10. Suddenly, it looks like a very good, well-balanced. All of the attributes are in there, aren't they? You've got your box-to-box player, your defensive player, and your playmaker. For me, now suddenly I think we look like a serious football team.
And you don't need Polina to play every game. You don't need Polina against Leeds. You don't need Polina against Burnley. You don't need Polina against a. You could even make the argument you wouldn't. There's probably 8 games in the season that you absolutely need a Polina. You need him against the Newcastle. You need his strength and his wisdom. You need him in the Champions League, some of the away games for sure. I think there's probably obviously the big 5 you need him in for certain games. I think you can make the argument that you don't even need him against Manchester United as it currently sits. But in certain games at the bottom of the table, you don't need a Polina. You can get away with something more like a Gibbs-White and a Bentancur next to more between if he stays or whatever else. But for certain games, the absence of a guy. Savva, you nailed it, mate. When you and I were talking about before Polina was ever linked, about 2 months ago, you and I were talking on your channel, and I mentioned Polina, and you nailed it with the. It wasn't even the words that you said; it was the reaction. You went, yeah, you put a Polina in here, and the guys behind him go,
yeah.
That was the absolute the energy there. It was exactly what 1,000 words couldn't write. Like just that breath of relief that you have a guy in front who's not trying to do anything that he's not capable of doing. He's just a master of one thing, bossing that midfield, tempo master, win it, give it, win it, give it. Not trying to do anything crazy, just win it and give it to someone else who's capable of doing the magical stuff. And we haven't got that. And we need it.
So it would be almost like this, guys, right? Like it almost allows. Sorry, forgive my just playing a little bit of Football Manager here, but it almost gives you that, doesn't it? It allows Udogie and Porro to go, knowing that Paulinia's there. Gibbs-White can go. Maddison doesn't have to come back to the halfway line because Gibbs-White's doing that. And it allows, more importantly, it allows these two guys. I don't know if you can see. It allows these two guys to roam, doesn't it? It allows these guys to roam all around here, wherever they want to go. Sorry, very difficult to move that. But and what we've done there is we've revolutionized the team without actually doing a lot, right? I mean, Gibbs-White could be our player this week, and then Paulinho is available for 25 million. I mean, we've not done, I've not gone crazy and gone for world-class players who are not obtainable.
You still look at that and go, Sonny on the left, though. It's not good enough.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. But what this does allow to do, you can also do this, by the way, if you wanted to. We could almost put in here. You could have Maddison, right? Sorry, you could have Maddison there. Kudus is there.
Can't see anything.
Gibbs White.
Not on the screen.
Gibbs White here, and then Son. Son's not going to stay there, by the way.
It's not on the screen. It's not on the screen.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Oh, sorry. 1 sec. Let me just put. Let's go back to Bergval. 1 second. So we could do this. Here we go. Sorry. So we could do that. So you could have Bergval in there with Paulinho. Gibbs White can move further forward. Maddison and Kudus and have the width. Let Maddison and Kudus do what they want to do and have the width as a Dogi and Porro flying up and down those wings.
Yeah, triple 10. Love that.
It's possibilities, isn't it? It's possible. But the beauty of this is that Gibbs White is a box to box. So Gibbs White will naturally drop in and help the midfield. Maddison and Kudus can both float wide, both cut in, whatever they want to do. And Adogi and Porro have got width. Look at that. That is purely adding Gibbs White and Paulinho.
Can I ask you guys a question, though? Can I ask you guys all a question? Would you rather see, if you could get, if let's say you've got 100 million quid left to spend, right? And forget about outgoings first, just 100 million quid left to spend. If you spent 25 million quid on a Paulinho, 75 million quid left, would you rather it be dropped on a left winger or would you rather it be dropped on a striker? What's the bigger? Because I know most of you don't rate Solanke. I do, but I do absolutely recognize that he is a certain type of striker and that there's room for another type of striker in the squad. Would you rather see us drop 75 on a Sesko or would you rather see us drop 75 on a, I don't know, insert a monster. There's so many, but whoever you fancy. I heard you talking about Garnacho earlier, and I agree with you. By the way, I think he's wildly over criticised.
I think left winger for me, Sean. I think we're going to see a different Solanke this year. If he gets the service, I think he'll get goals. I think he's been starved of service, played out of position, asked to do too much last season. So I think for me, definitely a left winger.
Yeah, I'm the same. I say the same thing. I just want the left wing to be as good as the right wing now. So I say a left winger for sure.
Lubo?
I don't see him buying another left winger now that they've spent 30 on sale. Well, 40 in total. I don't see it. I personally, we need strengthening. We need a tip-top left winger for sure.
Yeah, okay, but don't worry about whether or not the club are going to do it. Like, if you were in charge, would you rather drop on a winger like a Sesko for 75 if you could, or I don't know, just argument's sake, a Rodri, because you could probably get Rodri for 75. Not that he would come to Tottenham, but just if you could have your way, monster left winger or monster striker?
Striker,
yeah.
Yeah.
Savva?
I want your chairman to buy both.
This is the part where Savva's going, it's all too nice for a Sunday night. I need a clip tomorrow morning. And Lubo and Butler are here. Let's create an argument.
No, I'm too tired today for arguing. I'd have to say right now, I'd have to say a left winger. Purely because I don't think we're going to go out and buy a top striker. But if it was me and I was able to play whatever formation I wanted, I'd go with a striker because I'd have Maddison, Gibbs White, and Kudus all floating and allow the fullbacks to be the width. I think if you look at a lot of Brentford, how they played last year, Mbeumo and Sharda didn't actually hug the touchline.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you watch them play, they very much drive in centrally. And if you look at Kudus is that guy. Kudus is a left-footed right winger that wants to drive inside. So I'd put so much emphasis on Porro and Adogi being my width. I agree, and this is where I agree with Jimbo, but I just still don't think he's good. His all-round game for me is just not good enough, Solanke. It's just It's just not good enough. If I was a centre half in the Champions League, I'm comfortable. I'm happy if I'm playing against Dominic Solanke. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Just saying.
No, I hear the question marks about him, but I think that I think it's a fair comment to say like he only had one good season at Bournemouth. He hasn't done it previously. Liverpool, Chelsea, Liverpool, and where was he before Liverpool?
Chelsea.
Was it Chelsea? Was it Chelsea, Liverpool, and Bournemouth, or was it Liverpool, Bournemouth, and somewhere else? I forget where he was before.
Chelsea. There you go.
Chelsea is a junior academy.
Liverpool, where he started, and then Bournemouth, where he got moved to. Yeah. So I hear the argument that you can't judge. Like we paid a lot of money, and we definitely paid a lot of money for him. But I think that, I mean, I'd rather have Dominic Solanke than Nicholas Jackson. I'd rather have Dominic Solanke. You'd rather have Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson's not a striker for me. Nicholas Jackson's a 9.
I agree. But
he's a winger. He's a winger rather.
He's got more about him to worry defenders than Solanke. That's how worried I am. Sure. By the way, I don't want Nicholas Jackson. Can I let me put that really? I don't want a Spurs to buy him, but
Sav, that's the difference between how Maresca and Ange played their centre forwards. That's the difference.
But is it? I think you've got to remember as well. Nicholas Jackson also is about 6 years younger. And, he's quicker. I think he's better on the... My worry is with Solanke is if you're not great at scoring goals, like if you are not a natural clinical goal scorer, I want to see that you've got brilliant first touch and brilliant hold-up play. And I think he's very hit and miss with that. Sometimes I go, that was good. Other times it just hits him and bounces off. And the Europa League final for me summed it up. I thought he was absolutely diabolical. I thought he was dreadful in that final. He had that one opportunity when he went through on goal, and I don't think anyone really thought it was going to hit the net. He's not for me. I hope he does well. He
miscontrolled it, didn't he? He miscontrolled the ball, didn't he?
Right.
You talk about from Udogi's pass in the second half.
Second half, yeah. I think it was the only time I think we got in their third, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I hear the reservations, but I think I heard Luo say this earlier. I think Luo, if I'm not misquoting you, but you said it's too early. Like give him a season, and you can't judge him under an Ange season, is what I think you said. Or were you saying that about someone else? But it surely the same logic would apply, right? It was about him, was it?
Yeah. Sean, I actually think most of them, to be honest with you, I think most of them you can't judge. I think a lot of players underperformed. I think some of it was down to underperforming. As players should take responsibility, but I think a lot of it was the chaos, that we saw in front of us every single match. There was no system, no structure, players charging all over the place. I remember seeing the goal that Villa scored against us in the first minute in the FA Cup. We had all three essential midfield players in a triangle on the right hand side, and Morgan Rogers on his own in the centre circle. That
where I think Solanke will improve, I think what Solanke does, which is admirable, but absent direct instruction, I think is a waste. Is he was pressing the front, pressing the goalkeeper, but there wasn't these triggers where everyone was moving with him. So he ended up pressing the life out, but there wasn't that same sort of support. And I think that under Cochrane, and by the way, like I genuinely, having sat there and watched the half an hour, 45 minutes of pre-game sort of training, if you like, on the pitch at Reading and at halftime, I think that Cochrane is a monster of a signing for Tottenham. I think he the energy that he demonstrates, it's so infectious. I think I said this to you this morning, Sav, on your show. I think that he is going to be probably him and Frank together. Frank with the kind of like the calmer influence, and Cochrane with he's a very loud guy. Like you can hear him from the stand. Like I was sitting back watching it, and he's so energetic, and he's really feisty and infectious type of personality, and everyone's buying into it and like clapping their hands and pumping their fists and stuff because he's applauding them. I just feel like that that duo of intelligence and like an energy and the tactical things that they're doing together, I just feel like they're going to figure out a way to get the best out of Solanke, because I feel like Solanke left to his own devices he's a bit of a headless chicken. He just runs after things all the time and does a lot of hard work. But that stuff does pay. Like there's a yield that comes from that, which is you end up burning yourself out either in the game or over the season. Whereas if he's taught when to do it, then he can also reserve some in the tank for the moments when you need him to be in the right place at the right time.
I do agree with a lot of the comments that are coming through here, that Solanke and Richarlison are not up to the level that we need if we're going to be competing. I do think so. You know, for me, I always loved, as a striker, somebody who had a nose for where he had to be, and someone who was clinical, someone like a Robbie Fowler. And that's the sort, for me, if we could find someone like him to play up front, I think it'd be terrific.
Lubo, we could say that about a lot of the players, but it's going to take time. We can't do it all at once. I think it's going to take a few windows to rebuild the squad, because there's a few in there for me would never get in there if you want to be a top team. But we can't do it in one window, can we? No, let's hope that they can do it over 2 or 3 windows.
3 or 4 windows, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Do you guys think that? Sorry, go on, Lubo. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just going to finish off, Sean, by saying that I do think there's money available this season, this window, and if it's spent wisely, and if we buy the right players, then Spurs can have a very, very good season this year.
Yeah. Do you guys buy into the idea that there's any more action going to happen at the back? Like if Romero stays, do you buy into this Zabani? Do you buy into the Maxence, Lacroix stories? Any of these like Lukumis, Leonis, De Winters, all of these guys that we've been linked with over the last month? Do you believe that any of that's happening, or was it all predicated on the idea of who do we get in a world where someone bids a number we can't refuse for Romero?
Can I just say, just before I answer that, can I just say how upsetting is this when your front door goes and it's an Uber Eats delivery that you've not ordered, but it is from your favourite curry house, but he's got the wrong door. He's got next door, and I'm looking at it going,
This is just saying, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate you, mate.
Don't worry about them.
Tips on the app. I'll put the tip on the app. Thank you, mate.
Do you know what I don't get about these links, Sean? Is they seem to be the most concrete, don't they? Like we actually heard Spurs have inquired about De Winter of Genoa. Yeah. Spurs have inquired about Zabani at Bournemouth. You know, Scalvini and all that. Something must be going on. And I've got a feeling, it's just a feeling, I think that you'll see like, Dorrington on loan happened. I think Takai they'll probably want to send him out, get him some experience. Possibly Vuskovic. I don't know. I know everyone's going mad about him. Maybe Davis is being sold. Maybe that's why they renewed him for a year. Dragashin's out injured until whenever.
Christmas.
But maybe, just maybe, Frank and his staff have sat down and gone, okay, we like Van der Ven and Romero, but let's look at them over the last 2 years. They miss a lot of football.
Yeah, and if there's an intention to play a back three, then you definitely need to have an extra centre-back in that's capable.
Yeah.
But for me, if Romero's staying, Danzo's more than good enough. Van der Ven obviously is more than good enough. Dragassin's not going to be around for a long time. I don't know whether Vuskovic is. I think that Vuskovic is something that if I hear that Vuskovic has got his new home for a year, it's fine if they make that decision. By the way, I don't care. Like if that's what they want to do, it's up to them. But don't do it yet. Like we've just seen 45 minutes that's blown everybody out the wall. Like everybody is like, wow, we've got a monster on our hands. If then you wake up tomorrow morning and you find out he's going to Birmingham on loan for the year, which might be the right thing for him, but don't do it yet. Give him some more pre-season minutes, right? Let's see what he does at Luton. Let's see what he does in career. You know,
but if they're not, but the flip side to that, sure, I agree with you in theory, but the flip side to that, everyone, surely is if they're not seeing Vuskovic as one of the first 4 or 5 choice centre halves this year, then you want him to go out on loan and get 46 games under his belt in the Championship, right? Like,
yeah, no, 100%. I've got no problem if that's the decision. But like the guy within 10 minutes of putting his Tottenham shirt on for the first time got a goal and assist and a goal line clearance, and he crunched a guy as well and left the guy in a heap on the floor. And that guy took out Pedro Porro twice in the first half. Should have been sent off on a friendly, which is mad. But like, I'm just saying, like, can't we see what else he's got in his locker? Because this guy last year, I think it was by January last season, was the highest scoring teenager in European football, and he's a defender, a 17-year-old defender, and he was ahead of Lamine Yamal.
Would you rather he stayed to everyone, right, and got bit part minutes, or would we rather he goes somewhere, plays every week, 46 games in the Championship, and comes back a man, so to speak? Like, I don't know. I'm all for him staying, but if he's not going to get minutes,
I don't know yet. But all I'm saying is I'll trust the club to make the right call on that. All I'm saying is let's not make the call until we've at least seen some more minutes out of him against Luton, against Newcastle, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, and that's all I'm saying. Yeah, and then if they turn around and go, you know what, we love you, you're great, you're going to be amazing, but we need to send you out to a Premier League club or whatever Championship club. Fair enough, but just not yet. Like, don't take the sort of jam out of my donut, because I really like the guy.
I agree with Sean that we need to see more of him before we decide.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You see him getting minutes though. Like I feel like if you've got Van der Ven, Romero, Danso, Ben Davis is there. They've just bought Sakai. I don't know. Listen, I'm all for it, by the way, guys. I'm not knocking it. I'm all for it. If Vuskovic is the guy and Frank says, this is my man, knock yourself out. But I just don't want it to be like another one of these youngsters where we keep them. They don't really get any game time. We see him once every 4 weeks for 5 minutes in a League Cup game. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got to just be mindful of that.
I think he needs to go out on loan again. I don't think he'd get... I'd love to see him get game time. I just don't see him getting enough game time. And it could be that really sort of... What's the word? Stops. Let's say stops, because I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. Stops his improvement, you know. So I think he probably will go out on loan for 1 or 2 seasons. But we'll see.
I mean, it depends as well. We got what they do with the other players, you know, the other defenders. But you got to remember, we got a lot of games. If we go deep in competitions, we've now got a hell of a lot of games this season.
And we need a squad. We need a squad where the drop off isn't as big as it has been in previous years. So for me,
it's that balance, Luke, isn't it? But, you know, it's that balance, because if you've bought in. You've got Van der Ven and Romero that everyone wets their pants about, right? They're the two. You've got Danso, who the club have just signed, right? Dragashin's going to be back at the end of November or October, or whatever it is. Sakai's just been signed by the club as well. Ben Davis is still there. I get that we need squad depth, but surely not at the detrimental effect of these boys not playing. Because if you're 5th, 6th choice centre-back, you're not getting game time. And when you rotate, I know Jim's saying we're playing 60 odd games, but Van der Ven, sorry, let me start again. If Van der Ven and Romero are your 2 centre-halves and you're rotating, naturally the next 2 coming in surely at this stage is going to be Danso, Dragashin, Takai, right? Like the fact that you just bought, I don't know, like how do they all get games?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Some have got to go, Savva, or out on loan or be sold. Do you think their keeper, Dragashin, do you think he'll stay?
No, I don't.
He's injured.
I don't.
He's injured.
Yeah, but when he's back fit.
If we're talking in 12 months' time, Jim, and Vuskovic has come through big time, I think Dragashin goes.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he goes.
Trouble is, we've seen a tiny slice of what Vuskovic can do, and it was a fantastic debut, but we need to see what else he can do before we make a decision.
He's played a year for, was it Croatia Zagreb? Was it Dynamo Zagreb in Croatia? Yeah. He's played a year in Belgium. It's not like he's had a year in the J League in Japan. or the championship.
Has anyone
like
seen this guy defend though? I'm not being harsh. I'm just trying to play a bit of devil's advocate. Whenever I see anyone make a video about this guy, they're always telling me about the goals he scores, how good he is at attacking corners. I want to see him against proper teams as a defender. I'm not knocking him, but I want to see that before I get. I know Sean wants me to get carried away with it, but before I get carried away, I want to see. Don't show me highlights of him scoring goals. No offense, I don't care.
Goal line clearance on his debut.
Sure, goal line clearance, but being a centre half is more than just goal line clearances. It's about how do you mark your man. What's
clean
your
sheet on his debut? Clean sheet, goal line clearance, goal and an assist. He's a legend, Savva. He's a monster.
He's a legend already. And we've got Phillips as well. Surely he's heading out, right?
It all depends, Sav. A lot depends. There's two things. They will monitor the fitness of Van de Ven and Romero very, very closely because those two missed between them 62 games last season. And it also depends if he plays three at the back or two. If he plays three at the back, he's going to need 5 or 6 central defenders, isn't he?
Yeah. Listen, you're right. You know what, Savva? This is the reason why you keep him around for the tour because we go to Korea and we're not playing any mugs, are we? We're playing Arsenal. We've got Newcastle. Yeah. We've got another game. Is it 3 games, Lubo, out there?
Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich's back in Germany, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Is there a third game in Korea? Is it against the All Stars or something?
No. Hong Kong is Arsenal. South Korea is Newcastle. Germany, Munich is.
That's it. Is it? That's the 3 games, and then PSG.
And PSG, yeah.
Oh,
There's no. So Luton next.
Vicarage Road. And
I used to love those, mate. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I got to go to Reading. I'm going to Luton on the weekend. I went to Luton when they were in the Premier League. I was very lucky to get given a season ticket holder or someone who sits in the Tunnel Club who got tickets. He got me a ticket for this one as well for Luton. So I get to see them. I'm not going out obviously on tour. But 3 games away, it's a long way to go, isn't it, for 2 games and then back to Europe? But that's going to be the test. Like, I don't know what you'll learn about anybody as a competitive match against Luton, maybe a little bit more than Reading. But Bayern, Arsenal and Newcastle are pretty strong tests, I think. And they'll take them seriously, surely.
Yeah. We'll see. Guys, listen, I am going to, unless anyone's got any last gasp insights, I'm going to do a couple of super chats and then wrap up the show. Look, the last thing I'll say, right? I just think it's very interesting that all the solid links at the moment, other than the Gibbs White one, are centre halves. I think it's very telling. I think it's really, really telling. But like we said this morning, I can't see that anyone's going to buy Romero. Can't. I don't know who out there is going to offer 70 million for him. I genuinely don't. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe PSG, if they don't get Zabanyi, maybe they make. I don't know. Big up to Tot Doc, my man Ben. How you doing, bro? Hope you're well. Said big up Savva, the one, the only Queen Ellie and panel. Yeah, Ellie had to drop off. But big up to Ellie and big up to the panel. Look at them. Look at them, all so lovely looking. And someone on this panel is very desperate to jump off for me to finish this show so they can watch Love Island. So I'll make
sure. Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
I'll get enough. I'd like to see Lubo on Love Island. I think that would be cracking television.
Yeah.
No, wearing your Spurs.
Choose me, girls. I will chew your ear about why Daniel Levy is not the guy.
That could be your line, Sean. That could be your line.
Oh, love it. Big up, Ben. Thank you very much, bro. Hope you're well. Love the fun there as well. Big up to you. And Mark has come in and said, evening all. Hope everyone's well. Great show. Very well this end. Thank you, Mark. And thank you for the compliment. Very, very nice. Guys and girls, the perfect match. What have you guys got coming up on your show? Where can people find you?
It's actually Kate and Jimbo. It was the perfect match. But when you've tried to search up the perfect match, There's been so many films and TV shows that were the perfect match. It's never come up. So we just changed it to Kate and Jimbo because people always looked for Kate and Jim. So look, that's okay. We're every lunchtime about 12:30. We're back doing them. We do the pre-match pump-ups over on We Are Tottenham TV as well. Before hour and a half before kick-off, all the friendlies, then all the Premier League games. And we've been asked to do some work for Chris Cowling as well. So it's all busy at the minute. But yeah, so good stuff.
Well,
I know.
Thanks for popping on my small channel after name dropping all those Tottenham superstars out there in the YouTube world.
I hope they're paying you good money, Kate. Hope they're paying you good money, mate.
I'm whoring myself out and I'm taking Jim along for the ride.
Do you know what? We went out for lunch today, and someone recognised Kate.
They did.
And, you know, she's been a nightmare all day with it.
They did from the football terrace.
You've got your YouTube. You've got your first YouTube recognition.
No, it's happened before. It has happened before.
All right,
so,
big time.
but it was quite humbling and embarrassing. But I have milked it all day long.
Yeah,
I went down Top Golf. It was about 3 weeks ago before Bugsy had a bad ear, and someone said, "Is that Bugsy?"
Oh my god!
Like someone literally recognised. Well, they might have recognised the dog and then recognised me, but they actually said, "Hello, mate, is that Bugsy?" I was like, "You could at least recognise me first." That would just be like she doesn't know, she doesn't understand. You just why are you being a donut? Like, you know, it's okay. We all know the pecking order here. I know that Bugsy's the star, but fuck, you know, I'm the only one that speaks English. Come on, recognise me first.
Outrageous. Deary me. Okay, good. So if someone could put the link in the chat, that'd be great. Please go and subscribe to what is it, Kate and Jim or Jim and Kate? Which way round is it?
Jimbo.
Kate and Jimbo. There we go.
Did you have to ask that, Savva?
Huh?
Did you have to ask that? It was obviously
I kind of knew, Jim, but I didn't want to be presumptuous, you know.
Jim, to be fair, it was my channel first. You just decided all of a sudden you wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, but your subs have gone up since I come on, so.
Listen, you are the eye candy, Jim. We know you're eye candy. Sean, what's going on? What's going on with the channel? When can people see you next?
Oh, mate, you know, every day I'll be out. I'm either at my desk or I'm out with a dog. Whatever shameless barrel scraping links I can find to bring to your attention. And then, tomorrow, no doubt tomorrow morning, first thing you'll see something from myself.
There we go.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. And Lubo, I was going to say Lubo doesn't have a channel, but that all changes this week, doesn't it, Lubo?
It is.
Hey?
It certainly is.
Thursday night, the Spurs 5 seems to have rattled a lot of people. I don't know why. It's just a football show. We'll be live, our first ever show on Thursday night, so look out for that. We'll be plugging that during the week. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow morning. And then I've got Savva and Percy, the What Are We Doing Here podcast, which is quite fun tomorrow evening. So listen, much love. Take care, everyone. And maybe, just maybe, we sign a footballer this week. I don't know. Maybe we start joining in this crazy concept of a transfer window. Maybe we do. Take care, everyone. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs. And I've just sent you all over to Lee Gunner. Please just say Savva Raid when you get there. And ask him what he scores the Arsenal window out of 10. It's a good laugh. Take care, everyone. See you later. Bye.